Alrighty. Hey, everybody, friends and enemies alike. This is our first stream. Didn't even know I could do it, but that's how it works. Pips stealing the limelight as always. But yeah, probably gonna be empty in here for a little bit, but that works out, I guess. Just want to apologize for being a little bit late because we doing a first timer, not knowing what we're doing or anything is always great. But yeah, I guess we'll go around and do some introductions. I am your usual host, Child Doman. And with me, I have Child Garion making his formal first appearance after our intro video. If you want to say hi, Child Garion.
Hello guys, I'm Child Guardian and I'm a White Cloak.
Well, you're a questioner, but yes.
Hey now,
So, well, I mean, they're technically two different
yeah,
groups that are mutually attached.
we'll allow it. We'll allow it. Unless you're the Grand Inquisitor, right? Or whatever the hell that guy's title is. It's too early for me to think.
High Inquisitor, I think.
High
is what he
Inquisitor,
is.
yeah. Unless you're that guy, you still have a sunburst on your uniform.
I'm wondering,
so
I'm wondering. No, they had the shepherd's crook
behind. Yeah,
in front of the sunburst.
Because every time I hear it, like, oh, the Inquisitors, they have the shepherd's crook, and like never mentions the sunburst. But yeah, I mean, I'm the one who likes to torture people. I let you guys do the righteous deeds.
We torture ourselves. You guys torture others. It's different.
Indeed, yeah, indeed.
I mean, I feel like I torture myself too, so that counts. I'm always torturing somebody because I'm always torturing myself. But yeah, Steve, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Mr. Prophet?
Well, Prophet of the Dragon, right? I mean, I'm a crazy man that makes crazy videos, and that's about it, right? Hating on a little bit of everything that deserves it, I guess, right? Busy chopping up my streams, low effort content, but worth it. It's good stuff.
Well, wonderful. I think we all have to chomp at that one. Speaking of chomping, Pips, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so like Child Garion, I am also a White Cloak. So yeah, just repping the channel, the YouTube channel White Cloaks. Some of you guys may have seen our content as well. And if you haven't, go check us out, like, sub, all that other stuff. But happy to be here. The questioners honestly put out much higher quality and higher effort content than I think we do on any given day.
You're making me blush.
So,
and I know you're lying because it's not that much effort.
So now I feel good. I mean, it's finally be part of a quality organization. Really, it's moving up in the world.
Here.
It's a quality establishment. I hear the staff are very good.
See, they do accents and everything. I just bite people's hands when they get too close with an apple.
Hey, dude, I have my acting chops to fall back on. Everybody heard my audition read. I mean, come on now.
Steve does good voices as well. I can do a good Winnie, maybe. Depends on how drunk I am.
You're like, hey.
Hey, do you want to get your channel demonetized? I got a great joke for it.
Can we at least wait until the 2 hour mark just so we're safe? I'm just kidding.
Fine. Remind me at the end.
Well, apparently that's the thing, because that's like what Friday Night Tights always does, is they have to wait for 2 hours. Like the first 2 hours, they have to be as nice as possible, and then after that they go wild. But then it almost never happens. They always go loose cannon like the first 10 minutes. But
I think
that's allegedly the thing. Yeah, I don't know if it is or not, but I mean, I'm safe and sorry, right? You can always put it in private chat, and we can always giggle about it. That's always happened. But yeah,
done
that's
and
our
done.
thing. Oh no. But yeah, I guess we have a trailer that got released here recently. I don't. When did it actually get dropped? Was it yesterday or
it was
it was Friday?
Yeah,
Friday.
Sorry, it was during the Comic-Con, which Alex, another White Cloak, who is awesome. All the White Cloaks are awesome, but he was gracious enough to buy a ticket to the virtual Comic-Con panel, which was completely, we'll just say infuriating. And to mine and Alex's dismay, every time they showed a new clip, they cut off the feed. So we were pretty aggravated and wondering why the heck he bought the ticket since we couldn't see what we wanted to actually see. But that's when the sneak peek aired during at the end of the Comic-Con panel that they split up with Rings of Power because, well, they couldn't each have their own content because everybody's, there are no fans of these shows.
It's just empty theaters, man. That's all it is. Empty theaters.
Because some intern frantically came up to them at some point and it's like, "Hey, sir, just to remind you, you have nowhere near enough stuff to talk about for 2 hours. This is going to be a train wreck."
Yeah. Hey,
Great.
you got so little content. You have to show a cold opener from season 7 during your con trailer, during your con panel. Sorry, we didn't have enough to show. I mean,
is that what they did?
Yes,
I haven't watched the recording that you did for us.
The first thing they showed, they did about 20 minutes of useless talking about absolutely nothing, kissing each other's booties. And then the first thing they showed was the cold open from season 7, the Tigraine battle scene, to try and show how good they are at fight scenes. You could tell that Rafe was very proud of that crappy fight scene, and yeah, what a dude.
Oh, God. Dude, were like, it hurt my brain. Like as soon as I saw that, I'm like, okay, maybe she attacked somebody or whatever. And then she starts like flying around. I'm like, what is going on?
That whole thing is a mess.
Was it the 300 parody movie or whatever where they have like her pregnant spinning on her belly or something? Like that's all that kept popping in my head. It's just like this lady just spinning on her belly and then it like pushes down and the baby flies out. I
think actually it was just a Crouching Tigraine Hidden Dragon. And I think that should be the title of the entire series because the Who's the Dragon mystery box, it works perfectly. They should rename the show.
I know, right?
Guys, should we not proceed to just watch the trailer and shit?
Yeah, sure. If you want to go ahead.
Gary, Child Garion's like, hey, I got stuff to do. You guys. All right, so I got it shared with you. I think you need to.
I'm adding it. Here we go.
All right, cool. All right, guys. So just
before. By the way, how can we share it?
How can we share what?
Oh, right here. You should be able to see it right now.
Yeah, it's on right now.
Yep, showing up on YouTube. Looks good. Yep. So we are going to be doing sort of some rapid pausing. The video I'm sharing here, it goes through full speed for the first part because Child Gentleman, you haven't seen this trailer at all, right? So here's your seizure warning.
First. I'm a virgin. Gently, please.
Yeah, this is the seizure warning.
Yeah, they had to put a seizure warning at the beginning of this, just so you know. So here you go.
In the cut that's on the Whitecloaks, the seizure warning is the content, not the speed. But yeah,
it's priceless.
So just rapid shots of season 1. Rand improperly holding a bow. Nice. A shot of Egwene there right before this pause. Darkness. That's actually pretty.
Is this before or after Moraine gets thrown in the chest with a sword?
No, that's Moraine blowing up freaking the two rivers because
I think this is a fade on its horse. That's the horse wearing a horse skull as a mask.
I see his random pasty face in there somewhere.
Yeah, I recognize the offensiveness of having a horse wear another horse's head as a helmet.
Is that like white face or something?
Look at that. All right, there's
that's a great.
That is a great pause.
There's Nynaeve going sploosh.
Great pause.
Oh, this right here. That's good.
This looks like a metalcore album artwork. Is what it looks like.
I don't know. It looks like a funeral, I guess, which is what I would rather go to.
This is from season 1. This is season 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
This
is the season 1 recap.
One thing I love about the scene in the actual first season was that like they bury them so shallowly, like you can barely put dirt on them. It's like this is what?
I would honestly rather go to a funeral than watch this show.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, there you go. The Oath Rod dildo.
I was gonna say the dildo.
Oh,
This is the deal.
Perfect.
This is the deal.
Okay.
Perfect.
I don't remember this part, but that
Yeah,
looks
what
good
is
to me.
this? Where
This
was
is in
this
the
in the
dream.
show?
This is in the dream.
Is
Is it?
dream?
Yeah.
I don't remember that dream. I remember the dream with Egwene.
I remember the bat being thrown up. I don't
This
remember
is
the
this is
spear
the
in the
dream with
mouth.
Egwene,
Oh, joy! Like,
and that's
so wait,
the end. That's
I have
that's
to
the
say,
the season
the
one
first-
wrap up in 25 seconds, something like that.
like they did. It was like half episode 1, and then like some bits of. Like,
No. If you go frame by frame, there's shots from every single episode in sequence. Actually,
is it
they
really?
honestly they did the only version of season one that you can watch sober. Like I actually kind of applaud the effort that had to go into that.
all 8 episodes in 20 seconds. That's the
Well,
only way we could do this series.
Oh, I
Yeah.
would say everybody has to go check out the Whitecloaks edit of that because it's much better. We'll just leave it there.
By the way, guys, are we live?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. We've been-
Okay. So can you give me the link to our live show?
Oh,
Because
yeah, I'll post it in the private. Let me.
Got it.
Yep, there you go. Beat me to it.
All right, you guys ready to keep watching? Have you prepared yourself emotionally?
I
I
mean, if
don't
I was an
know.
emotional person, I would say yes, but
This is like I'm still making my own video here, so this is yeah.
All right, here we go. Season
This
2.
is the best shot of the whole thing right here.
because you can't tell who anybody is.
Exactly, you can't tell what the f is going on.
What are we
can
doing?
say
Don't know.
so far, we know they have acquired more horses than they had in season 1. So
Yay!
that's
and
good.
and more horses.
Well, I mean, they were in Faldara, weren't they? So they could just like take all the dead Faldaran's horses because
It's
all the
also
men
like-
died at the wall.
I meant the actual casting. The casting department acquired more horses.
Oh, so they had more than 3.
well more
5.
than all of Rings of Power too. By the way, so
Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think this is the party leaving Shinar, right? Like,
yeah, that's it's Perrin and Co.
Yeah.
Instead of
Perrin and
Rand
the
and Co.
and the Shinarans. Yeah.
So first shot completely wrong already.
Yeah.
Yay, topless Rand. Woohoo.
Yep. He's sitting there
American History X
Looking-
Rand.
looking sort of through the blinds. I mean, I honestly kind of applaud them. They're literally having Rand in the closet in the first shot that we see him in, which is
So we see him in his former state.
I mean, like it's on the nose, but like I do appreciate the sort of transparency that they're going for. You guys got anything else?
No, my
mean-
only comment is he's hiding because I had somebody tell me in the live stream he's probably the only actor that's finished the books and he didn't show up to the Comic-Con either. So he's hiding in this closet.
Do we think he's finished the books?
Somebody told me he finished the books. It's
That's-
clear that the other actors and actresses and probably even Rafe Judkins have not read it because there's a lot of blank faces when the question was asked, "Did you read the books?" and they all start looking at each other. So clearly, none of them have read the books.
Oh man, that's great. I really need to watch that now that you recorded it for us. I
I'll
really
watch
need
it
to
for it
actually
with you
watch
if you want. It's oof.
Yeah, I
let's
was
do
hoping to
that.
hear about that, but it never happened to get time to do that. So
Yeah, we'll do a live stream on our channel, I guess, and have you guys on if you want. And anyway,
good to me.
we won't talk too much more about it. But him in the closet hiding, got it.
too much shirtless scenes.
Oh, there's a lot of no shirt.
Okay, so caveat here: this is slowed down 50% for us to be able to catch the frames because they cut so fast. So the audio is kind of trash. Moraine is saying we didn't defeat the Dark One. We released one of his key lieutenant. Is what she
Correct.
says here.
Yeah. So Rand did not destroy the Dark One. He released Ishmael.
Yeah.
The strongest lieutenant. Did she really just say lieutenant?
Yeah, I broke that down in our thing. I was like, really? So the author served in the U.S. military, and we're going to go with lieutenant. Nice. Okay.
Like that's a modern military term, more or
Look-
less. I mean,
look,
they have
it's-
lieutenants.
I don't
but
even,
that
like-
military base, and this isn't a military organization in terms of the Forsaken.
Like I didn't even go there. I went with the fact that the whole thing is stupid. So this is everything that's happening is Rand's fault for freeing Ishmael now, which makes it Moraine's fault for coming to get him.
Yeah. Pretty
Like-
much.
Like if they didn't go to the Eye of the World, everything's cool. In this BS rendition. So, and I think
hey,
this
you
is
know what?
supposed to be Lanfear, right?
So I said that I think that this shot is potentially a little bit of a red herring, right? So we see a Shamael walking, and
Right.
then we see hand reaching out, hand accepting it. I don't even know if this is a Shamael's hand. Like if you look at the skin color, a Shamael is kind of like Arab Middle Eastern, the actor that they cast, right? Like he's
Yeah.
I don't
But
know, swarthier.
I'm looking more at the
Um,
surroundings. I think it feels like it's the same cave that Ishmael was in when he
Dude,
was walking up there.
this entire show is shot in fucking
That's true
just
too.
dingy, dark blue filter.
They're trying
You
to do
can't
like a
see
grim dark
anything.
kind of feel or something like that.
Yeah, I think, yeah, but I think you're right. It's all dark, but I don't know. I'm sort of, I get what you're saying, but I really think this is Lanfear, and they're going to make Lanfear and Ishmael a power couple. I think that's what they're going to do.
Well,
Which doesn't
I
make
mean,
any sense whatsoever, but yeah.
No, well, nothing
Yeah.
does, but
Yeah, it's true.
yeah, I can't say that it's for sure not Lanfear. I just think that this shot, there's nowhere near enough information to really know what this shot is.
absolutely.
And I think the only reason we think it's a Shamael and potentially a Lanfear is because we saw a shot of a Shamael before.
Yes,
but
agreed.
this trailer cuts around so many times, like who knows?
Yep, 100% agree. I'm just full speculation, but you are 100% correct. This could be a season episode 8 shot in Ishmael in episode 1, and they just cut it together to make us, yeah, agreed.
Like this could be a freaking weird dream. This could be who knows?
Yep, agreed.
It may be waking the Forsaken.
Oh, son of a gun. I hit pause and it didn't. Let's go back. All right. So it says he may be waking the Forsaken, talking about a Shamael or / the unnamed lieutenant of the Dark One. So
His
Dark
name
Friend
was
Social.
Jim.
Jim the Forsaken. Yeah, why not? Oh boy.
Some called me Tim. I mean,
so
this-
Dark Friend Social, right, is what we're looking at.
Yeah.
this. I mean, like, here's the thing, though: is like, is this supposed to be
guys?
all Forsaken, or is this supposed to be
Child
just
Gary, what
random
do you
Dark
got?
Friends?
Those are not the Forsaken, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree.
No,
I
I don't
agree
think.
with Karen.
I initially thought
they're
it
just
was,
random
but
heads of Dark Friends. I'm assuming.
well, it's the Dark Friend Social from the beginning of
Yes.
the Great
From the
Hunt.
book,
So
from Brook 2. From
Yep.
Oh,
yeah, they were very proud of this. Sorry, Pips, but they were very proud that they did the Dark Friend Social. I remember them just being like, "Ooh, Dark Friend Social, Dark
Wait,
Friend Social."
so
that's
we
what
can
this
get
is.
the Dark Friend Social, but we can't have the prologue with
Yes.
Luce Theron and Isham.
Yes, and I think I actually have a reason for this. So in my video breakdown here, my thoughts are that there's a certain YouTube channel / podcaster that runs something called the Dark Friend Social, and these people have been asking since season 1, like, oh, is the Dark Friend Social going to be in it? It's a bunch of show stands, right? Who sit there and they, sort of beat each other off about how great the show is and everything show related and talk trash about the books, even though they deny that they talk trash about the books, but whatever. And it's a self-insert for them. So Rafe and all of his buddies are fans of these shills and stands and what they do, and they've been begging to be in the show. And so here we go, guys. The most important scene Robert Jordan ever wrote, obviously, Dark Friend Social.
Yeah,
I think it's funny though, because like it's like showing their true colors. Like we're the book cloaks and the white cloaks and all that stuff, but they're the Dark Friends and they admit to it completely.
I know.
willingly.
I love that they complain that we call ourselves white cloaks, and they're like, oh yeah, the baddies. I'm like, actually, you guys claim to be Dark Friends.
Yeah, we have a
claim to
dark.
be-
Do you remember which side we were in the last battle? Because
Which-
I remember.
like
Pepperidge
the White
Farm
Cloaks?
remembers.
Yeah, the
White
white cloaks
Cloaks
are
are-
not villains.
No, they may be dogmatic, but they're fighting for what they think is correct, and they're fighting for God. They just, but it's just
And
like
they get vindicated.
Yeah, and they are vindicated in the
Yeah.
end. So it's like we were
So-
on the right side of the freaking last battle.
Yeah,
Dark Friends
it's
were not.
Yeah, so it's one of those like Dark Friends social. Yeah, I think you're absolutely, once again, Pips, 100% right. This is a self-insert for that unnamed YouTube channel, because I won't do that. But
Are
for
we
them to all be
gonna-
like, hey, that guy right there, that's supposed to be me.
Are,
Dude,
are
I
we
wouldn't
going to
be
speculate if
surprised.
Rafe was actually one of the people here?
I would, yeah. I
I
think
wouldn't
that's
be
exactly what,
surprised if that YouTuber is one of the people. I wouldn't be surprised
be
if
surprised
he's an
either.
extra with a friggin' tablecloth on his head.
Yep, agreed.
But I will say that the other aspect, not to derail completely, but we're a bunch of Whitecloaks here and questioners, which are part of the Whitecloaks. The thing I was going to say was that not only are the Whitecloaks ultimately sort of vindicated, but the Whitecloaks are not just like they're dogmatic or whatever. They actually are correct in their fundamental assumption and assertion. And so you hear these people always talking about how the Whitecloaks are like the KKK, and they're like, "Oh, you guys are the
that's
KKK
bullshit.
or whatever." And it's like, so do you think that the KKK was right? Because in which case, you and I disagree fundamentally.
or vindicated at any point in time in history?
I was like,
'Cause
yeah,
I'm
the
pretty sure
KKK,
they weren't.
those dudes sucked. They were bad. Full stop. The Whitecloaks are not them. So if you think we're them, I mean, we agree the Whitecloaks were on the side of good at the last battle. So
Oh, yeah.
you and I
Oh, yeah.
disagree about the KKK, apparently.
Clearly.
Anyway, all right, let's get back to this.
Forsaken.
Damn, they do these cuts so dang fast.
They're really
Yeah.
fast. Yeah.
This
It's
is
incredibly
guys.
fast.
This is 50% speed too. Like, imagine
Yeah.
watching this. There's the reason there's an epilepsy warning on this freaking
Yeah,
clip.
they clip through it so fast.
It's like you couldn't, just make it 2 minutes and actually give us time to look at things and know what we're looking at.
So real quick, do you guys remember that part where Uno, Perrin, and Loyal get captured by the Shan-Chan? Oh,
Yeah,
wait, I know.
Actually,
I
yeah,
don't-
I do. I do remember that part. It was straight along the side where Darth Vader popped out of a portal and started killing all the
Yeah.
kids in the villages.
Yeah, and that guy's got a bat. Do you see that? I just noticed that.
I
right
brought
now.
that up too.
He's got
That's-
a baseball bat.
It's a baseball bat that's been sandblasted. Dude,
He's got a
I'm telling
fucking
you.
baseball.
Wait. You're telling me this is the same universe as Mad Max? What?
Yes.
He's
Damn
got.
it.
So who knew? Who knew that the Shan-Chan were huge Dodgers fans, and they brought their memorabilia over to beat.
Well,
these
that's how they.
Randlanders
That's how
and
they. That's how they find their way when they're on the seas and they don't know where they're going. They take a baseball bat and they knock a baseball and they just follow the baseball.
They play baseball
and then when the
on deck
baseball-
of their ships. Yeah.
The baseball is always right.
Steve, I swear I had that observation on my own. I'm not stealing it when it later is in my video.
I just noticed it right now because I haven't really just taken a deep look at this. Like I've clipped it like a little bit and got mad in my stream, but
I do
I just
remember-
noticed that it's a freaking baseball bat. I don't know why this chick on the left has a leaf hanging over her mouth too, but like
that's not. It's her binky.
It's a nose.
Actually,
It's a nose ring. But it's a binky.
It's
Yeah,
her,
exactly.
it's a
Yeah.
binky. But here's the thing, though, is that like I had seen a clip or a picture of the pauldrons on the Shan-Chan, and I was like, okay, so far at the very least, the thing they have better at this point is that the armor in this is better than the Rings of Power. Like
So
far, they have that going for it.
I
The
mean-
pauldrons and the armor pieces on the gauntlets and stuff
Well,
actually look like armor. They don't
it's-
like now. The back pieces look kind of stupid, but I don't know. What
Well,
those are
it's one of
supposed
those things. It's like it's been floating around, through my streams, and I know White Cloaks discussions and stuff like that. Is that we shouldn't be settling for anything, and Rings of Power armor is crap, and even if this is considered maybe better, it's still crap. So crap is still
I'm not-
crap. Whether
I'm not
it's-
saying
No,
it's
no, I'm
not
just
crap.
saying-
I'm saying it's better than the Rings of Power,
No, I
which
get-
is sad
I get-
considering the price point between the two. But like,
So, for me, I
where's
think,
the insect heads? Like, I'm thinking more
So-
samurai helmets rather than, I guess, Roman gladiator helmets or whatever they got.
so I will tell them we'll see a shot of this later. The ones on the right I think are Death Watch Guard, even though they should be dark green and black, right? And they're
Blackguard.
not. There also shouldn't be any Death Watch Guard kind of in the country right now.
Yeah.
But I think that's the only reason to like have it make sense that those dudes have clearly more elaborate armor
Is
than
that
the ones on the left.
loyal in the back?
Yes, yes. You see the Pomeranian, and you
And then
see
they have
you see
Yeah.
Perrin.
spears and all that.
I thought it was
we'll,
Kit
we'll
Harington
get
for a second, but yeah.
we'll get a better
Oh.
shot later. The Death Watch guard look
and
a
pepperoni.
little bit insectoid, but I still don't like it. It's not the way that I
They
think
look more
anyone
like a
envisioned it.
beetle than like
Yes.
an insect.
From
that I can
the
see.
front, they look like a scarab beetle. So anyway, we'll see that later. But yeah, I
Egyptian
agree.
themes. Then I'm
You
assuming.
back, Pips? You went robot on us.
Oh, I did.
I didn't hear him say "go robot" on us.
Yeah.
He's been going straight on mine.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, we'll keep playing it.
He's catching up.
Oh,
maybe it's
Steve,
I think
it's
it was you,
Steve.
Steve. It's been you all along.
It's been you the whole time.
Garen, what did you think about this? Let's see if you've fallen asleep.
All right.
You there?
We'll play and he can jump in. Okay.
That beard though.
Yeah.
that
gosh.
beard.
Hey, if you
It
can't
looks
grow a
so-
good beard, don't grow a beard.
That's not a beard. That's like he cut off part of the Pomeranian's hair and then glued it to his face.
It looks like the beard that they gave Tam in episode 1, where it's like you could almost see the beard glue and tape and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Well,
just
here's the
really
thing
wispy
is-
and weak.
Every time he mentions his beard, it's never just like a goatee. It's like it's a full fed like man beard, like you'd expect, like covering your mouth and everything.
Yeah.
So I don't. It to me seems kind of a weird route to go, but I don't know. The aesthetics giving me more of a Middle Eastern aesthetic than I guess Two Rivers aesthetic.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's his natural beard. I get
Maybe.
that, like, they're going to have him be bearded because Perrin is supposed to have a beard. I think that, this maybe would have been one of those things that when you cast Perrin, you should have cast a guy with a good beard. Just
somebody
throwing that out there.
who's capable of actually having
I
a good
know.
beard.
I know that casting characters based on their described appearance is not something this show is about, but who knows?
Or really any show nowadays, unfortunately, is
Yeah.
just a thing where they kind of remove that as an option because the acting quality apparently is on God level, which I have yet to see this God level acting, but
yeah,
that's just me.
So the only thing I had as a takeaway here is that this is the same scene that we just saw. So he's in the same uniform. Perrin
Loyal's right behind
and
him.
Loyal are in sort of the same positions. So Uno gets grabbed up by the Sanchan, and then the High Lady Suroth, I'm assuming, shows up.
So you think we're
Cut to
gonna
Donald
skip?
Flynn. I think.
You think we're gonna skip Turok completely?
No. I we'll see.
Because Suroth wasn't in for. Well, no, Suroth was in.
Suroth was in the Great Hunt. Anyway, so here's the new actor.
I don't think he looks bad, but I just don't think they're going to do him any justice because of his story.
He looks obviously he was the second choice for Matt. I like that his bathrobe looks a little bit better. It's still the Big Lebowski, but slightly better.
Yeah, I don't like as much facial hair on Matt because he's never described that I can remember off the top of my head as somebody who has like a beard, goatee, or anything like that.
Certainly,
if anything, he's got like stubble that he gets rid of ASAP.
Yeah, certainly not a wispy little child beard. Again, if you can't grow a beard, don't grow a beard. Like, it's okay to have characters clean shaven. Like,
yeah, he goes. Welcome back, Steve.
Hey, Steve's back.
Sorry about that, guys.
You're good. He always is gonna like. That's probably Suroth, I would assume.
Yeah. So this is what I was saying. They roll up Uno. They kneel and sort of prostrate themselves, presumably because the High Lady Suroth shows up.
I wanted to point out that earlier in the previous shot where we had Perrin and Loyal, like, wouldn't they kind of make a big deal about Loyal considering the Gardeners exist in the Shanshan Empire? Like, wouldn't that be a problem?
I
don't know.
I'm just going to throw this out. I think the Ogier Gardeners are not going to exist.
Nope.
Probably not. They don't have enough actors for that.
Also, they like the Ogier look so terrible in this show that, like, honestly, I think that they're probably regretting with how dirty they've done it. They should have just not even had the character Loyal. to be honest.
Yeah,
Yep.
pretty much. Yeah.
Well, because
Like,
I mean, they and I think you're right. I don't think there's going to be gardeners. I'll be interested if they even explore any of his storyline other than him just being around, because there's no tree singing. He hasn't mentioned his steading once. He's just a bookworm.
Yeah.
You know, one way they could have actually have done the series that would have been an interesting twist on it is have it open up with Loyal and have him doing like writing in a manuscript and like, explain like, and here's the story and here's all the, because like literally in the entire book series he's writing all of this. Like this is his level of the Silmarillion, where he's compiling the history of the Dragon Reborn. And
I'm going to disagree with you there. I think that, you know, in things where the Peter Jackson movie has already done something super well, you should not play the same. You don't want to draw.
I mean, they're going to copy paste anything anyway.
Well, that's my point. Like,
I wasn't even really aiming as the comparison to like, because honestly, I know Bilbo does it, but I wasn't even like going in that direction. And I think that was more for The Hobbit. But in terms of like this, I was thinking like he could explain the prologue and they could do like show the screens and then like everything happening, and then him be like put his book down is like, well, I should probably start at the beginning, and then it goes back to the beginning. And at least for the normie crowd, that would be a way to draw them in, catch them up to speed, and explain things. And then we could be like, okay, Loyal being in the series makes sense, because so far I haven't seen him take a note. He doesn't talk about anything like he's going to be writing anything. There's no historical access to him. Like, why is he here? He has no purpose.
I don't know. I mean, I get what you're getting for, but I don't necessarily think Loyal has a ton. They just chose not to incorporate him the way they should. There's plenty of.
I haven't even seen him pull a book out of a pocket or anything. Like, nothing has happened so far.
Well, hey, wait for the book out of the pocket. I'm telling you, Haddon Fane's dagger stabbed into a notebook in his pocket.
Absolutely.
They're going to do the book in the pocket meme.
I usually fall over dead when a knife gets stuck in my book too.
Yeah, no, he's gonna have the book, either that or like, well, there's just did I miss the scene with him like doing a Hulk smash? So maybe he's infected with the dagger too. I don't freaking know, but
so I Loyal have their own story where they go off and have to fight the corruption.
At the end of the day, I don't want to get into a counterfactual of the way that they could have done season 1 better, right? Like literally anything, name literally anything. And so like at the end of the day, like, could they have done it better? Absolutely. So that's
agreed.
Suroth though.
Yeah, the mouth of Suroth, yeah.
I wanted to see her smile with like the 5-inch teeth.
Like, what is this?
I think there were references to veils and stuff, but I thought it was only on like the Empress or the daughters and sons, I guess, of the Empress. I didn't think that it was on just any highborn, because like Turok didn't have one, I don't believe.
So for Tuana or Tuon had a veil, but it was for a purpose and only for a period of time when she was figuratively and then also literally veiled.
Well, she wasn't veiled until she became Fortuono, correct?
No, she was veiled until she revealed herself. She was just acting as the High Lady something when she wasn't in charge, and then when she took over charge and sort of asserted herself over Suroth, then she was like, now I'm the daughter of the Nine Moons.
Yeah, I thought she went veiled when she was the daughter of the Nine Moons, as the daughter before, like when Matt and her get together, like when they did the marriage proposal, I do's or whatever, the whole she's my bloody wife and he's my husband kind of thing. When that whole thing happened, she wasn't wearing a veil, if I remember it correctly.
No, because this was well before that. She was veiled like on the ships when we see those scenes and when she first arrives in Abu Dar.
Oh, yeah, that part, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Regardless, it looks goofy.
I'm getting Magic the Gathering art style. Is what I'm getting from this.
I'm getting like, this is what happens when you tell your prop and set people to, hey, don't
do whatever you
open
want.
The books.
Yeah. Well, it's like, what is she wearing on her shoulders too? What are those things? Like, look at them. They're
supposed to be a form of pauldrons, but neither of them are symmetrical.
It's just, I don't know. It looks silly.
I'm guessing that's wire work. Look, and the wire work just bent wrong way.
She should be intimidating. She's not. She looks dumb.
I don't think she should be intimidating. She's just supposed to be a woman in a dress.
Well, I mean,
Well,
I guess
she's supposed
everybody's
to have an
intimidated.
air of authority, but like I
Yeah,
can't see
I
her
get-
fingernails. Did they go in the long lacquered fingernails?
Oh, you're
Well,
about
you're,
to.
you're about to see him,
Oh,
but
no.
no, no.
You're about to
So,
laugh your ass
so
off.
I guess it's different. Not intimidating, but she's very well respected and feared. So I guess there's a big difference because of her station. Obviously,
I'm getting
she's in
Abaddon,
charge,
God of
right? So-
Secrets from Guild Wars 2 from her because that's pretty much what his mask looks like, but with a bunch of eyes on it.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, they do these cuts so damn fast.
Those look more like glow sticks, but yes.
Dude, they are like 10 inches long. Like
Wait, these are nailed
more
on?
than 10 inches long.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
They're-
kind of
they're-
silly.
My first thought, and this is again, I keep on retreading the stuff from my breakdown, but imagine being Turok trying to wield a sword with freaking 20-inch long nails.
Yep.
That
Like
would be
it's
rather
gonna
difficult.
be ridiculous, right?
I
I
mean, and,
suppose these look
there's
like they're
scenes-
detachable, so you could just take them off. I
which
suppose
is
if you're
also
gonna go fight.
hilarious.
I know, right?
I don't think they're
Detachable.
supposed to be detachable. I just think that they're literally so
Well,
comically large that the actors like they needed to support them. So those things go down to the
Yeah.
first knuckle to like have them not break off.
Well, I'm pretty sure in the actual books, their actual length is like an actual. I don't know. I'm guessing it's supposed to be natural, but I don't know how you force it to grow out with your station. But I think they're supposed to be natural. But at worst comes to worst, they're like the clip-on glue things where they like because then the high nobles never do anything. Like they have servants to do everything for them.
Yeah, but
So it's not like she
never
has to check
pictured-
her phone and they can't
Like,
push it. She just tells somebody else to do it.
Like, and I don't know that they ever give us the length, but I pictured them like longer than others, so you could notice, but not ridiculously long to like where you like.
I think they would have been 1 or 2 inches long is what
Right,
is what
that's
I've always pictured
exactly
because
right.
we see them like holding a calf cup and like a few other things and being able to use a sword. You literally couldn't use a sword if you had these nails, right? Like
Yep.
hold your hand like you're gripping, a friggin' a sword in your hand and look at the way your
baseball bat.
fingers are pointing towards your palm, right?
Baseball bat, yeah. No, it's ridiculous. I mean,
You wouldn't have the proper
humongous.
grip nor the strength to hold it if you were fighting
these
somebody.
things are the
Yes.
length of a sword.
Yeah. Which it's funny you point that out. We're gonna see some freaking Wolverine Turok later in this
I was
trailer.
gonna say they look more like portable lightsaber fingers.
Yeah, it's
Your
bad.
Schwartz is almost as big as mine.
You have no conception.
So land is stupid.
I can finish that sentence for you, Moran. You have no conception of how the story is actually supposed to be told. So
They continue to just they continue to try and actively make attractive actresses look bad.
Yeah, that
like
too.
like she's old, right? I think she's too old to have been cast in this role. But she's still a pretty woman, like
Yes,
in real
she is.
life. And
that's going to be a preference thing on that one.
Well,
That's
of
not my
course,
preference.
of course. But
I'm not
but look,
saying model. I'm not saying she's a 10, but I'm saying that she's
I was
pretty.
thinking more like a 2.
I
but
don't
yeah.
I don't know Rosamund
Okay.
Pike. I think she's a decent actress. She's done some good things.
I've never seen her anything that she's good at. Like everything I see and everyone references, I'm like, this is good acting because that doesn't look like good acting to me.
Well,
She's like a B-list actor. As far as I'm
I
aware.
think she does fine in most things. I'm not saying she's the best, but she's definitely not the worst. I think she's semi-attractive. She's fine, but I still think that her casting was the worst thing that happened to this show because Moraine is now being pigeonholed into things where she shouldn't be.
Yep.
And this whole thing, they're going to force this whole stupid Lan Moraine storyline into a portion of this show where they should not even be present at all. This is Moraine telling Lan that he doesn't know about the fucking Forsaken, excuse my language. Why Lan spends his whole life following, well, I should say his whole life.
20 years.
A
good chunk of his life.
bulk of his life with Moraine, who, yes, keeps secrets, but do you think he doesn't know who the Forsaken is? And how powerful they are?
I mean,
You
he
have
should
no
know.
conception. Like, okay, yeah, the stories that children are told to keep them scared.
He should know as
across the
much as
entire
her.
He should know
he should-
as much, if not more. Like, he's a
I
king.
mean, so the White Tower has, the the best libraries in the world.
Well,
And
so
like,
as
I think
much like I mean,
yes.
she'd want her warder to be prepared. They're bonded.
Although
They've
to be
spent
fair,
countless hours together. I mean, come on.
the sister Aes Sedai, Van Deen, and what's her face? I can't remember her name. They actually have a lot of like one-off only books that even the White Tower doesn't have, because that's where Moraine goes to
But the
study a
whole-
lot of the
Yeah,
stuff.
but the whole point,
But-
she says you have no concept of how powerful they are. Really? How does Lan not have no concept of how strong the Forsaken are?
What
That
I
is
was
the-
actually going to say is that, well, he has no concept because unlike in the Eye of the World, where they meet 3 of the Forsaken, and Moraine and Lan actually confront 2 of them, we're left in this show where none of them have any concept of how strong the Forsaken are, because Moraine, in the books at least, is clear that the White Tower pretty much knows nothing about the Forsaken but their names. And they know that Lanfear is apparently almost as strong as Ishamael and Luz Theron, which of course is not even close to true.
Yeah,
But yeah,
they have a concept of how powerful they are, but they don't really know jack shit.
and their concept is honestly wrong. They're
Yes.
like they treat them like boogeymen just as much as the regular people
Oh
do.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if the Forsaken were hanging out and John Wick showed up, they'd all be peeing their pantses. Let's be honest.
These Forsaken, yeah, probably.
Oh my gosh, the cuts are so damn fast. All right, so here's the more of the Death Watch. I guess the tassels and colors are all wrong.
I
Yeah,
never.
I mean-
aren't they supposed to be green?
It's
Not
supposed to be
blue?
green. At least there's tassels and spears, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand the smiling look. Like, is that supposed to be intimidating or like hilarious? Because I find it more hilarious than intimidating.
It's
that's
it's
their-
weird that like all of the stuff we've seen for them so far is like creepy, like skulls with spikes and like all
Well-
this stuff. It's like, dude, like you're dressed like villain sort of lackeys.
Yes.
Like
so
they're not
Gri-
supposed to think they're the bad
Yes,
guys.
exactly. The Sean Chan are not the bad guys. They're coming to.
They're also not a
take-
cult like thing
Yeah,
where they
yeah,
worship a
like-
skull bone god or something.
Like they can't. That's the problem with the show. The show doesn't know who the bad guys are. They don't have any freaking idea. Sean Chan
Oh,
and the
they
White
know
Cloaks.
who the bad guys are, and
Well-
they're people with XY chromosomes.
Right. Well, because the Sean Chan and the White Cloaks are not the enemies, and they've made them all. They're trying to make them these evil guys. The Sean Chan are just like, you know what? This is rightfully ours, and we're gonna.
Are they
come
wearing
put things-
blindfolds?
They're gonna come put things back how they should be, and you know, hell,
I think-
in the book, the lands they take over almost become more. Well, not almost. They're more prosperous than they were before they were there.
Yeah.
It looks
So-
like they're wearing blindfolds from what I can see. So I'm
They
not
could just
sure.
have painted around their eyes or something like that to.
Well, no,
to
no, I'm saying,
increase
like,
the look.
It's going from like their ears,
Yeah.
and if you follow through the mask, it pops them and goes over their
I'm
nose.
just saying it could be a bandana or it could be eye paint or like just face paint and stuff like that.
Well, yeah.
It just to increase the look of the insect, I guess. I don't know.
It doesn't look like an insect to me at all. It looks more like
I-
a Egyptian type wannabe thing.
Well, I mean, a scarab is an insect, and if you look at it if you were to imagine this from the front, we'll see it later. You got 3 legs on each side. You have a sort of thing that looks like the abdomen with a bisected thing where the wings would open, and then their eye holes would be the head of the scarab, and then this weird sort of venom kind of face underneath it, which is strange. On the pauldron, you see it has 3 eyes, so that would be like a lopar, or sorry, a grom. But the nose and teeth look sort of feline,
Lopar
which
have
would be a
3 eyes too?
lopar.
I think Lopar have 3 eyes as well.
I thought lopar were just really big cats.
They were bronze scaled cats. They had, I'm pretty sure, I have like a bestiary thingy, and I'm pretty sure a Lopar has 3 eyes as well. Grom were like the frog bear looking ones.
Grom are like the big frog guys. I don't know about the low part.
Every
I have to look it up again, but I have like the because I have the D&D books as well, and that Robert Jordan had made for 3.5 edition, and in it they had like a bestiary, and the Lopar popped up, and I'm pretty sure it had 3 eyes, but I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty confident I saw it with 3 eyes. But not that it makes it different. Because a Grom has a beak. It doesn't have a mouth.
Yes, I remember the Grom having 3 eyes. Only
yeah, they did.
Who knows?
Because Rand shoots them in the middle of the middle eye.
Comment down below in the comment section, I guess, if the Lopar have 3 eyes as well. I interpreted this as they're probably amalgamating all of the different animals into just one sort of
I think
mythical
you-
animal, and
very
then
good.
probably
Right.
Do you think
raccoons.
we'll actually see any Lopar or Grolem in
No.
this entire show? Because that's a lot of CGI budget, and they can't even do freaking trawler
No.
fights.
from a distance, in really dark shots where you can't see anything.
maybe.
And heavy blur, like a silhouette.
Yeah, at night. We'll see them at night, and we'll just see 3 eyes glowing or 2 eyes glowing in a cat-like shape or something like that. Yeah, we won't see anything real. I mean, we can't get a Drakkar for God's sakes.
But
Yeah.
they won't. They'll do less quality than maybe like a cosplayer would do for a Lopar or something. Like that, a cosplayer would make better lighting and better like
Look,
just
Look,
costume design in general, and like
I
for a
can't,
quarter of the
like,
price that they do.
I
which
don't
doesn't
like
make
that the
sense.
colors are wrong, but the armor is at least interesting to look at. I haven't seen it from the front. I forget what it looks like from the front, but
We'll see it.
you know, yeah,
I don't get what the hump on the back is supposed to be.
The hump on the back is a little weird, but the rest
It
of
looks
it
like a
is
Krogan from Mass Effect.
Yeah, it's not like it's. I don't know. I wouldn't have done the mask that way, but at least it's sort of it's not the ball gag thing is a lot worse egregious than this
Yeah,
right here.
I don't understand the ball gag at all. Like,
Yeah, I'm with you, Steve.
I don't know where they got that from, like that concept.
Yeah.
I have
Rafe
no idea.
Raikins for
So
getting
this
bedroom.
is at least this if everything else being equal, this was at least I haven't seen it from the front. At least they're putting some attention to detail in some of this stuff, even though
Hey,
some of
Garen,
it's wrong. But
Garion, what do you think about these armors? If you're still there, assuming. Matt?
Did we kill him?
here.
Oh, yeah, there you are. Okay. You haven't said very much, so I was just wondering what you thought about the armor.
The armor shit.
Straight to the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is shit, mate.
Yeah, it makes sense. All right, we can go to the next scene if you can catch it fast enough. Nynaeve.
So this is
Swan.
is that
the
Swan?
I think it's Swan.
It's Nynaeve. I'm pretty sure it's Nynaeve's accepted
That's
trial.
Nynaeve. That looks like Nynaeve. Except
I'm almost 100% sure it's Nynaeve.
well, assuming they have
But
accepted trials.
So
but-
I shouldn't say 100%, but well, they pretty much in the Comic-Con thing they said she's going to have her accepted trial. So that'll give them a whole episode of Nynaeve to go through.
I'm
If
surprised they're
they-
not just jumping straight to Aes Sedai in the first 10 minutes. So
I'm trying to catch it when she
Yeah,
turns her face just a little bit
think-
more.
well, she's looking at land, so obviously. It's
Well, I see. Well, that's one of
Nynaeve.
those we don't know if that's a creative cut or not, but I'm almost
It's a creative
positive
cut.
that's Nynaeve.
That
Okay.
fits her hairstyle,
I'm
and
looking
she
at
seems
her
to be a
lip.
little bit lighter of
I'm
skin.
looking at her lips and her nose under that little bit of hair, and plus, if you think of her outside of the show, if you've seen her do any of the
That's more like her natural
yeah,
state.
that looks like her natural hair.
Okay,
than the
I'll give
braid.
you. She doesn't look nearly as old. When I look in real close, she doesn't look nearly as old as
And
Swan.
Swan is also much taller, I would say. I think.
Yeah,
just
you can't
just-
really. We don't
It's
have a
hard-
banana
well,
for scale in the shot.
Actually, we know
No,
it's
no,
not.
you're absolutely correct. I'm just
We know it's not Swan because she is not carrying a dildo.
well,
Yeah.
The
It could be self-inserted. Let's move
Yeah,
on.
that's true.
It could be Swan. I'm not dying on that mountain, but I think
I think you've convinced me.
okay.
We have done the convinced.
Yeah,
What is up with all these shirtless pictures? Like
It's
seriously,
the
we got
female
Rand
gaze,
shirtless.
man. It's the female gaze. Don't worry
the
about
evil
it.
female gaze.
Actually,
Evil-
it's the Rafe. It's the Rafe gaze. Rafe
Rafe
is
gaze.
just
That makes more sense, actually.
Why? What is that string on? What is that on his hilt? By the way, of this going to the scabbard. What was that?
So it's not a string.
Isn't that the
Um,
slit to help?
So
put it
yeah,
in?
it's a slit to be able to guide the sword in. Shadiversity did a
Oh,
thing
for
on
outside-
the back
for-
scabbard, right?
Okay, that's
That
not
thing looks
It's
horrible.
still really poorly designed, but at least like it has all of the things that is supposed to be on there, just nowhere near good enough.
It
for
looks
the right
like
size.
leather.
Yeah, I mean that's leather
mean,
would be fine.
yeah, that would be okay
Well,
for
yeah, like-
scabbard, but
Cut through it or something.
He's doing his kata, I would imagine.
yay, more
Sword
kata.
forms.
No training of kids though, and no
Nope.
fighting real things. So we're just gonna hit the air
So,
with my sword.
I just want to say the one thing that I will give as a possible hopeful moment in this show is Lan and Moraine and Rand have been shown together in the behind the scenes trailer.
Yep.
So maybe if we're being super charitable, maybe this actually is Lan practicing and training Rand. Maybe.
Well,
I doubt it.
But when though? Because Rand just often left Moraine, and then
Well, but
Whenever
it looks
they
like they're
link back up
Yeah,
again.
it looks like they're going to catch up to him in Carhian. But because that one snippet of
they're going to
other-
butcher Kyrian so much.
Yes,
well,
they are.
they butchered everything. So yeah, but yeah, I
But
think
the Forgate, it makes sense. Like a lot of stuff's made out of wood, but like the Forgate is supposed to be like a shamble house comparative to the rest of the city. But it doesn't mean they don't have like normal, like mortar based buildings. Like
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't understand it.
But you may be right, Pips. This gives me the feel of him by himself, though.
I agree.
But
I completely agree. I think that it's him by himself, mainly because if I was doing a teaser trailer and if I was doing the scene, I would have shown the two of them together.
Yeah,
like it would have been the two of them side by side or facing each other would have been the scene.
Yeah.
I feel like Rafe would be all for that because he gets two shirtless guys to look at.
Yeah, just put them right, exactly. Get them all sweaty, have them doing sword forms together, and it's like, okay, hey, look at that.
Although Lan doesn't look like he's sweating very much, so.
That's because the little boy with the spray bottle hasn't come by on set yet. Don't you worry.
Yeah, they wasted it all. Oh, here's the. Oh my god! Here's the worst thing. Oh my god!
Why the fuck does Nynaeve?
Nynaeve's got a freaking sword. So you want to know real quick?
Is this water training, or is she getting attacked by dark friends?
No. This is my theory on this. I have to say this. This is Matt's scene. They gave it to her. That's Galen and Gawain.
Oh, that's Galen and Gawain. Oh my gosh, no! Why are they inside? The training grounds is outside.
Well, no, we know.
They can't afford
behind the scenes. We know from the behind the scenes that the water training ground is the Hall of the Tower with sand. It's literally they just put sand on the floor.
By the way, I know that this is Alana girlfriend or whatever.
This is Lana's girlfriend.
Yeah. I mean,
Nynaeve is gonna what? Or no, you're saying this is Alana's warders? You mean?
Yeah.
You think that's Maxim behind her?
Yeah.
I could see that. And I could sort of see that this would be Ivan with the sword close to him.
He's got a white girlfriend.
I think Ivan's maybe a little darker though. I'm
standing by this is Galen and Gawain, and they've given it to her.
So the thing to recognize is that I've boosted the lightness in this video. So
yeah,
the colors are a little bit off.
I can't quite tell, but
I don't necessarily know that I'm on board with it being Ivan and Maxim. What I will say is
it's one of the two. I can't see anybody else randomly doing it.
The thing that I want to point out, two things, I guess. I don't disagree with you, Steve. I think you could very well be right, and that would be horribly offensive. Yeah. But Child Garion brought up, why is she carrying a sword? That's a great question. But I would ask two other questions. One, why is she wearing a novice dress?
Yep.
Good. Because never a novice, right? If you want to say that she was a novice for like a night.
Yeah, maybe. Like I don't even think that they took her right to. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
maybe
she was never written in the novice book. She went straight to accepted. So even if she was not necessarily accepted from the beginning, like when she was brought there with Egwene was written into the novice book, and she was basically said, "Would you rather if you want to do these trials, or would you rather be a novice?" She's like, "I'll do the trials." She's coming with the trials. So
but the other thing I want to bring up is, spinny spin, sword move, awesome, totally good.
Do you think this is better than Guy Ladriel's sword?
No. So actually, I was going to point out that they have the balls to do what they didn't have the balls to do in Rings of Power, which is here. Let me do it. So guy behind her, right, is swing. So they actually let that guy swing at her unprotected back in a maneuver that should have totally chopped her right in half if it's a non-blunted sword. Whereas in Rings of Power, they made the person that'll look ridiculous. So let me just stand behind you, not moving for 5 or 6 seconds, and then they forgot to take that out of the frame.
Wait a second,
I think he's.
What are you talking about?
I think he's spinning, and he's just the way he's spinning is spinning him away from her, so he's not within striking
Like
distance.
he
And so
just like
after she parries him right here, she's gonna
like
turn around and answer to the next one.
Look, he was on the left side of her. He's yeeted himself over to the right, to the back of the room. Like
You're
he
telling
just
me-
took, he
you're telling
swiped
me-
and missed. Like
Yes.
what is that?
You're telling me that he steps towards her to swing at her unprotected back.
Misses and then yeets himself to the back of the room.
Like,
Well, I mean, it's sand on the ground, so you got to remember that.
I'm just saying, if this is the Gowan and Galad scene, then unlike Matt, she lost this fight.
Oh yeah,
she's
dead.
going to
Yeah.
win it when
Well,
they show
also
it to us.
Matt's
So it'll
using
be
a
like The
weapon
Last
that he
Jedi.
can. Matt's using a weapon that he can basically attack and defend both of them
Yes.
while
Well,
being in between them, and she's using
yes.
a weapon that forces her to be on one side. Like
And a
and
weapon
also-
that
and
Matt has
also-
trained with.
It's also if they're not practice swords, so what the hell are you doing? So if this is a real fight, then that brings up another. So what the hell is going on
I
with
hate
in
these
the tower
swords.
that's
Like,
having a
I'm
sword
gonna
fight?
I'm gonna pull a Shad and say I hate these swords, mostly because I love bastard swords. I don't like just the single-handed long swords, and I don't like two-handed great swords because they're too big and bulky. But I love the bastard swords because they can be single-hand or dual-hand. I hate these types of swords.
Well, my point is they should be practice swords. They're in the practice yard. There's no reason they should be using metal.
Yeah, they'd be wrapped with sheepskin and
Or
No,
something.
rope or
they'd
something.
be staves. They'd be staves. The wheel
They'd
of
be
time,
staves.
every single time there's a practice fight, it's wooden staves.
And then so my they're gonna be making snippy comments at her, and she'll be like, "Oh well, I'll show you how capable I am," and then she's gonna whoop their asses.
Yeah. So these are two people, whoever they are, regardless of Gowan and Galad, whoever they are, almost certainly are people who have trained with a sword before. She has never picked one up in her entire life. Whereas, yeah, Matt has trained with the quarterstaff, competed with the quarterstaff, just like everyone, all the boys in the Two River compete with the quarterstaff at the fairs and festivals. So, that makes sense. It also is a weapon that can engage two people simultaneously and has reach on a sword versus she looks like she has a short sword versus that long sword. Everything's wrong with it.
I don't know. Maybe they're Alana's warders. I don't think so. That guy's got long hair. The other warder didn't have long hair like that. This does not
Maxim,
look like.
It depends on how much
Maxim-
time they pass.
This doesn't
I mean-
look like Ivron to me. That does not look like Maxim to me. But
Yeah, but does it
maybe
look
is.
like Maxim's stunt double?
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, the real question is, are they really warders? Because as far as I'm aware, all the warders who are given the option to become gay just kill themselves. So
I mean, it's possible, but I don't know. Regardless, there's no reason she should be here in a novice outfit with the sword.
I'll say what I think on pretty much all of the scenes that we see is that I hope that this scene is a dream and not a thing that actually happens.
Yeah,
Maybe this is in her Terra and Grail trials.
Yeah, maybe that's.
I'm thinking it's going to be in the regular one because she's already been. She's killed a Trolloc. She's used a knife to threaten land and stuff. Like they're trying to make her the warrior king or something like that.
Well,
I know that my hopes are stupid and ultimately going to be unfulfilled. I'm just saying that's the only way I can justify this and not drink
Don't
myself.
cling on the tuft of grass on the edge of the cliff. Just let go.
I mean, of course. So the thing that they are wearing green, but I just I don't know.
Well, one's wearing green. The other one is wearing at least white.
I don't know. They could be whether it's the Matt scene or not. Then it's still bad. But I don't know. I don't know. My first thought was that they're stealing Matt. And maybe this is just Matt's scene without Galad and Gawain. Maybe it's Ivron and what's his face, and Galad and Gawain aren't even in it.
Possible.
We haven't got a Galad announcement yet. We haven't got an official Gawain announcement yet either, have we?
It's because they're keeping Galad's casting as that Zelia girl. They're keeping that secret until the reveal.
So it's like, okay, so let's make this even worse. It's not Galad and Gawain, it's Alana's warders, and it's still the Matt scene, only it's the two warders in 90s.
With all the characters different and the weapons and stuff are wrong, and the
Right.
location is wrong, and I
Right.
get
So
that they only have one image for the entire tower, but you're telling me you couldn't afford to put like a little practice yard with like a wooden fence around it, like a little
well, yeah,
normal
exactly.
corral,
It would
just
be
to do
better.
your
Yeah,
sword forms? That would
yeah,
look
exactly.
so much better and give us better
Oh,
aesthetics.
absolutely. So I think that's even worse. So I you know what? You've convinced me. It's not Galen Gawain. It is Ivron and his butt buddy. But now they've taken Matt's scene completely away, and they've replaced Gawain and Gawain with 2 warders, and now they're having the scene with 3 different people. That's probably what it is.
Yeah. Whatever
it's
the
even-
worst
it's even-
possible thing they could do
It's
is.
even worse.
It's probably that on top.
It's even worse because the 2 people that should be there are not there. I think that makes it
It's a
even worse.
500% increase of terribleness.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So another, she's carrying a
More
big old
knives.
knife, you know? Yep. There we go.
more-
Okay.
Huh.
Look at Wolverine Turok.
Is that
What
Turok
the
in the middle?
frick? I didn't pick that up last time. Is he got a sword in his hand or not?
No, his sword is on his waist, right? But those are so I brought this up. I was like, man, it's gonna be completely comical to see him carrying a sword. And then
Dude.
I had paused this a second, like earlier in this catch. Here, let me see if I can. I think I paused it like right.
Oh my god, dude!
I might have paused it like back right here, and I was focused on the face of this person with the weird mask behind them. I was like, I guess maybe it's a Sojin or a true speaker.
Looks like a
But like
Cyclops.
it looks like that character from Naruto.
Obito, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that one. Yeah. And I was looking at the scarab helmets, right? I was like, yeah, the scarab helmets. Like I was correct in thinking that it does maybe look like a scarab from the front. Like, okay, I'm seeing that. And then my eyes kind of like panned over right to left, and I was like, oh god, that's Turok with the nails. I was right. It's going to be the most ridiculous thing ever. They're 20, 30-inch long nails.
Oh my god!
It's almost 2 feet long.
Can you imagine sword
Gosh.
fight? Like, how many times would he have to like? Well, not even just.
I
just
can't
being able
imagine
to
a
control
reason
your
for a
sword.
High Lord to ever pull his sword out unless he
Here.
willingly chooses to do so in like a duel or something.
Look at the power stance that we're going to see him do.
No.
It looks like he's
Why-
flipping people off. Is what it looks like.
Yeah, he hasn't even pulled out his weapon. The other guys are like getting ready to fight, and he's just sitting there in a power stance.
So this is so in keeping with the idea that the Shan Shan are just evil villains. Look at the like skulls on their faces, teeth, claws, bones, spikes, and stuff.
What the hell
Because
is
think
he
of what-
wearing?
Yeah.
Sorry.
What do we see of Turok in the books? It's this guy who's into poetry and art and history
Collecting,
and like the
yeah.
fine things. He's in silk brocaded robes. He's living in a very comfortable life, but he's also very intelligent, ruthless, and a blade master. So you see
Actually,
this. You
Pips,
see
hold
the
on a second.
pinnacle. Yeah.
Hold on a second. You're reading from the old script. This is the actual script now. That was the one they threw away when the one person who had the balls to say let's write from the book got fired.
Yeah.
That was the script he brought. So continue.
I was just saying, like we saw the pinnacle of Shan Chan sort of society, right? In the like, here's this High Lord who's like the
Yeah.
sort of like poet king, right?
Yep.
And then, but we still see that like they are also very rigid and like hierarchical, and like there's flaws, but there's also good things, right?
Yep.
And instead, we get literally a comic book villain.
Yeah.
He's the Lex Luthor
with these
Something
long
like that.
ass claws on long ass
Yeah, like-
fingernails. I mean, it's ridiculous looking. It just
Does
look
anybody
at
else find these spears to be kind of weird?
it. Yeah.
Like, just they look
don't know.
like
They
if they're
look-
holding
it's-
them like is really weird. Like they
It
have
looks CGI'd.
that. Well, there's that, but I'm
You
saying
can
like
see
for
the
the,
edge of the green screen around the spear tip that we're looking
yeah.
at.
Well, I'm thinking like in terms of like how they're holding it. Like they're holding it at the very very back where they have very little like
Well, I'm not
actual
so much- it's just, like,
maneuverability.
the tip of the spear looks a little weird to me, but I
that
don't know.
too. But those look more like Chinese spears with the tip of the Chinese
Yes.
spear being a little bit different. But they're trying to hold it like a martial artist, not like a soldier.
So they're too short to be an actual spear the way that I think you're thinking of. This is probably the length of what an Aiel spear would be, sort of a short spear. An infantry spear.
I'd
right?
say
An infant-
a yield spear would be half that high, half that size because they use it as a one-handed stab motion. They don't have it
Sure.
double-handed,
but they both,
and they carry
right?
3 of them.
The
You can't
Aiel
carry 3 of
spear.
that thing.
Well, you could, right? You carry 2 in one hand and 1 in the other. But an Aiel spear, I'll agree, a little bit shorter than this, but like somewhere between a spear and like a short quarterstaff or something like that, right? Whereas a infantry spear for this time period would be primarily an anti-cavalry weapon, and
Wouldn't
that
it be
you know,
more
like
closer to a pike? Though?
yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like these guys should have.
I'm saying like
pikes.
there's actual spears. Well, I mean, I could see spears in a fortress location. Pikes are more going to be on like a battlefield where you know there's going to be cavalry or something. A spear would make sense as an infantry unit for normalized combat. But why would you guard a High Lord with a pike? Because if anybody gets it close range, then you can pull your pike down. You're literally screwed. Like,
I mean, that's what the sword is for, right? So the reason you have a spear and
well,
a
in that case,
sword,
they might as well drop the spear and go for the sword now.
but that's my point. Is that the reason that you have a long spear and then a sword is so you have a lot of range and something that's good against a horse or something like that. And then if it's a guy, you can keep them at a distance, or you can draw your sword. But anyway, I'm not a medieval and earlier sort of historical weapons guy, so I'll leave that to Shad.
Unfortunately, I'm not big enough for Shad to come on and explain that stuff to me. But I hope he watches this this teaser clip and covers it, because I wanted to hear what he says about it.
So I actually got a reply from him on Twitter about this. He said he's going to watch it, so he'll do a breakdown.
I hope he does. I really enjoy his content. Alrighty. Well, what else do we got for this besides the Cyclops in the back?
So Egwene,
Crying.
Novice
Yeah.
stress, I'm assuming. Oh, the quiver! Did you see the lip quiver?
Yeah.
Oh, the lip quiver.
Another shot here.
I
No idea.
I have no idea what he's doing.
Well, that's why.
But
That's what it's like.
His
what
shoulders look like that's fluffed with something.
He's got yeah. His shoulders look weird. He's got a rope around him, so obviously somebody's trying to capture him or some bullshit.
Yeah.
I can't tell if his face is darker or something. That's why I said maybe he got stabbed by the dagger and he's like getting corrupted. His face looks weird.
So I have a
and I
prediction
know-
for
I
what
know-
scene this is.
What's that?
I have a prediction for what scene this is.
All right, hit me. I want to hear
This
it.
is the Foregate getting burned down, the Trollocs, sort of with the catch poles and the puppet stuff.
Oh, when him and Rand are getting, well, that's bold assumption. They're going to keep that in there.
I mean, I think we've seen what looks like the Foregate burning down in the behind the scenes,
I've seen the Foregate. I don't know if they're going to do that route.
and we saw what easily looked
He's
like it
wrong
could have been
group.
Trollocs sort of
Wrong
dragging
group.
people away.
So I think that's right. I just think that's wrong. Not because it's not a good place for him to be, but he's with Perrin on the other side of the world.
Except we
Portal Stone, though, could be the exception for that.
They're not going to use the portal stone.
that's a good
They'll
point.
probably
I
use,
mean,
they'll probably use a Waygate.
in the books they link up again, but you're
They
right.
do, but
they won't.
Yeah. They won't because they have too much to do. They're finishing. They've already said the end of this is going to be Dragon Reborn. I like your thinking, and that would make sense. But we got to remember who we're dealing with. They're giving
I'd rather not.
they're giving Perrin the horn cat. Perrin is going it alone. I think they're going to keep the boys separated through this whole season. They got too much. They got too much room to cover, and they screwed up how they're doing it.
They're going to throw Rand in the Aiel Waste, and they're going to have Perrin and Loyal off with Uno for whatever reason. I'm assuming they'll be chasing the horn and Padon Fane while
I think
Rand's off somewhere else dealing with the Aiel, and they'll converge them at some other point.
I think they're going to give Perrin the whole horn storyline by himself.
I can't
wait. I can't wait to hear what the friggin' show stands and shills think when Matt doesn't blow the horn.
Yep. I'd love to hear the defense of that one. Yep.
But I will say that, the only real solid takeaway that I think we can definitively say is that somehow season 2 makes Loyal look worse than season 1.
Yep.
Like the costume effects are worse.
Yep. Agreed.
Like his shoulder, like his body looks like it's made out of pillows.
Weird. Yeah,
that's what I was saying. Which is funny because he's a big boy in real life.
Yep.
Like he's 6'5", 6'6", something like that. He's a big dude, and you shouldn't have to puff him up because he's already massive.
I actually thought that there was kind of a joke about this. I don't know. People can comment down below if I'm wrong about this, but I thought there was kind of a joke that the actor who plays Perrin is actually larger than the
Yeah,
actor who plays
he's
Loyal or any of those.
taller. I
And I
don't know if
think
he's
Perrin is
wider.
only 6'3" or 6'4".
Or to have this dude hit the weights a little bit, get some freaking high shoes.
No, that would
and that's
actually
it.
take effort, and we don't do that in the show.
I know.
You have to step back, Steve.
Look,
Stay in your
put-
lane.
yeah, I know. But putting pillows under your shirt and going, okay, done. He looks bulky. I mean, come on.
Anyway, if I'm wrong, people can tell me. Otherwise, I'm going to stick with my my current assumption, which is that I'm actually a better Ogier size than any of the actors in the show. So
Agreed. Yeah.
Well, it's not about your size. It's about your acting ability. You're the best actor for the role.
I got enough bulk to play an Ogier compared to what they've done here. Yeah, I'm with you. You and me, man. Let's do it.
Moraine in a bath.
Crying.
Moraine in a bath, which this is the fourth or maybe I think the fourth time that we've seen her bathing. So she's the cleanest person in the show, I guess.
Yep. She's fancy.
Person.
There you go. There you
go. No.
There's the gaze. There's the gaze, guys. You can have it.
Hey, don't talk about the gaze like that.
I meant the female gaze. Okay.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the male gaze.
More shirt. So that's shirtless scene number 4, if you're counting both land clips.
Oh, nice.
With a baldy.
Hey, what do we think? First of all, Steve, I think you said that you thought this was going to be a real thing from the behind the scenes thing. I thought that it looked like a cheap CGI job, and apparently you were right. So I will give credit where credit is due. I thought that it was just a cheap CGI job that they did for the behind the scenes thing, because they're like, oh, like a wheel, like the Wheel of Time. It'll look good in our little short clip.
in the production shots they showed it. It's like it was physically on the set with them.
But I got what he was saying. It was just sort of sitting there with no point. But
in those production shots, like when you looked at it, it just looked like it was green screened in. Like it looked trash.
Do you think they'll call it something like the Wheel of Judgment or something like that?
God, who knows? They're gonna call it the Eye of Sauron. Like
I don't even know where the hell this is. Is this in the waste?
It's supposed to be in the waste, I believe.
Who knows?
It's like this. This is what we do to trespassers or something.
Yeah, I know. This could be China. They just or just some random town they found. It's like, strap him up. He's evil.
The point that I want to make is so do you guys think that those ropes and shackles are those prisoner ropes and shackles, or is that Rafe bring your props to work day?
There you go.
That's definitely bring your props to work.
Well, because I believe fully that
because those look like carabiners, and I'm pretty sure they don't have carabiners in Wheel of Time. Just saying.
I'm pretty sure that this Josh is still strapped to that thing down in Ray's basement. That's why I didn't make Comic-Con. So
I'm just saying, like, those look like nice soft ropes and good sort of well sort of lined.
This is
little cuffs.
Cosplay BG was saying this is Tel Riyadh.
Man,
or a dream from Ishamael. So I don't know. I'm thinking this is actually the waste, personally.
I think he's there. I don't think it's fake, but we'll see. Maybe
he might have a dream about the waste, but I don't think this particular scene is from the waste.
If this is Tel Riyadh, I hope that they just go again, just like full transparency. And this is when Rafe Judkins got into basically like pulled Joshu into his dream. and has full
I don't know if Joshua would like appreciate that, but
no. Does he look like he's appreciating it?
Yes.
I mean, it's possible it's a dream if you do the 1-to-1, like he's dreaming in Carhian and he has the dream that he's got to go to the waste or something like that. That's possible, but it's still stupid.
Hasn't he not determined that he needs to go to the waste until he's already in tier post Stone of the, because he reads a bunch of books and stuff.
He doesn't have any run-ins with an Aiel.
The Aiel
until tier.
Yeah. The Aiel convinced him after he gets Kalendor to go to the waste.
Yeah,
he runs into the Aiel with Varen between.
That was Perrin and Matt.
Yeah.
That wasn't him. He wasn't there because that's when Perrin was the sniffer for the group.
Yep,
and he come against Uriel.
He doesn't encounter him.
So Loyal was there with them, wasn't he?
Loyal, Huron, and Rand were chasing down Fane, but
yes,
they went through the portal
yeah,
stones.
I understand
So,
that.
so in Tyr, he gets his hands on Kalendor and then realizes there's Aiel in the stone.
You barely
That's his
see
first.
any of
That's his
Rand.
first
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, you barely
Okay, I
see
think I'm-
Rand till because you got to remember it gets a little mixed up because when after the events of the Great Hunt, Rand f's off by himself, and half of the Dragon Reborn is Moraine and co chasing Rand down, trying to catch up to him. The
Hey,
next time
running
you
into
see
things.
the next time you see Rand is him grabbing Kalendor and going, "Oh crap! What are all these people that look like me doing here?" Like,
So I
oh
think
shit,
I'm.
they're Aiel.
I think
That's
I'm,
what it says. I
I'm
feel represented
combining-
here.
Yeah, I think I'm combining two
Yeah.
two scenes then. So
I do it all the
I was
time.
combining
You're
the
thinking about the one where
where
it's like, man,
Baron
he could be
and-
he could be Rand's cousin. And that one with Uriel, I remember that one. That
Yes,
was
so
great. That was the Great
I'm-
Hunt. Yes.
combining the one where all of them go to the steading to ask permission to use the ways to get to Falm,
Right.
They run into
And-
the what means
and the one where they with the Shinarans and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
Varen, all those go into it. So yes, I was combining those two.
Yep.
All right.
the shake face.
No video that includes Perrin would be complete without
open
Perrin
mouth.
face.
Mouth bleeding. Yep.
the open mouth.
I can't wait for him to turn into a werewolf. I really can't wait for it.
Ow!
Imagine doing a trailer where you're like, yeah, we want to have a close-up shot of Perrin doing like a very sort of like emotional kind of reaction face, and not being like, yeah, we should have him going full wolf boy with the golden eyes.
I'm just worried they're gonna put wolf ears on top of him and then give him like a wolf tail while he's in human form. So then we're gonna have a furry.
Honestly, if they cast a furry for this show, I think it'd be an improvement.
Probably.
Maybe.
Like, I mean, make it a comedy at this point. Like, it would be much better if they just leaned all the way into a comedy.
I mean, yeah, if they went full parody, I could at least be able to laugh at it and not cringe every 5 seconds. And I think the normies wouldn't be able to tell the difference because they don't know the story anyway. So, like, I mean, they'd be like, "Wow, this is pretty trash." Like, don't worry, it's just a parody. It's just a parody. Like, oh, so what's the real one? We'll let you know when we get the rights. Like, oh my gosh, I feel like. Did you guys ever watch? Oh, did you guys ever watch the fan made stuff that ever was created? They did one where they had like an Aes Sedai, or I'm assuming it's a Dark Friend Aes Sedai facing on like a merge roll or whatever. And
yeah, we posted a link to it in our Discord when we were doing the rewatch yesterday. It's
like that I felt was better, and it was still pretty bad, but it was better than most of this, I felt. And that was on a much smaller budget.
I mean, it was on effectively no budget. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, if you had that good of set production and all that jazz, and then you give it the budget of this show, they could have done wonders with that comparatively to what we actually received.
Yeah.
Now, do we know who this person is that's getting slapped
Uno.
by a shield?
Uno.
It's
Oh, so
Uno
Shan
and
Chan?
a Shan Chan.
Yep. Uno slaps the Shantan with the shield. So this
So-
is their escape from whatever made up town they get captured in.
Does anybody like his eye patch grabbing his bun?
So yeah, it's a bun, not a top knot. As long as we all agree on that he has a man bun, not a top knot.
Yep.
That's
man
not a top
bun.
knot. Man bun all the way. He's also really short. I keep going to like the Star Wars things. Like, aren't you a little short to be a Shanaran?
Yeah, he also has no armor and no back scabbard because the Shinarans with their
His eye
swords on their
patch
backs-
doesn't have a flaming eye on it either.
Oh, that's a good point. I don't think we don't see the eye patch in this shot, but yeah.
It's the guaranteed Sauron appearance in the show to be the point where Sauron teamed up with the Dark One. So this is like, the mutual destruction of both series.
Yeah. So my joke on this one was that, hey, look, Swan got Perrin's wig. or got Loyal's wig, I mean.
No, she stole it from the Harfoots, man. It's just bloomed on
Oh,
her head.
yeah. That's naturally grown right there. That's 100% natural grown.
Like, gosh, this looks bad.
When do Aes Sedai wear headdresses?
They don't. She just
Like,
looks goofy.
She also has no stole.
Yeah, what is she
doesn't have
wearing?
she's supposed to have the 7 colored stole, so everyone knows that she's all Ajah's and none.
She looks stupid.
Yeah, it's a
It's just like-
ceremonial robe with no stole. It's like, honestly, I will.
But the
I'll
thing
give
is,
them
the seven stole is the ceremonial. Like that's what it is. It's always what she's wearing.
Yep. I will give them this. This looks terrible, but it looks better than her costume in season 1.
Yeah.
Get rid of the headdress, and maybe I'm with you. The headdress
No,
is ridiculous.
even with the headdress, those giant
Yeah.
shoulder things. Do you
I
remember the
don't know.
giant shoulder
I
things?
do.
And the
This is
stole that
like-
had the wrong colors on it, man. The
They
stole
reminded me.
had the
she-
wrong
It's
colors.
She
blurred.
reminded me
Blurred.
of the Star Wars Inquisitors when she was in the first season.
It's yeah. I mean, I think this is better slightly, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying much better. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
saying.
I
You
know,
know,
I know.
they
When-
also put a lot of effort. Like, look at all the artistic effort they put in the surroundings. I'm like, guys, you can like really like a quarter of that effort to make it look cool and still be able to produce things. Because like if everything
Well-
is that high a detail in every scene,
Well, but
it
the
just
thing
feels
is,
overdone. Every
This is
time.
all reused stuff that they just move around for their
Oh, I
tower
know.
shots. That's all it is.
I know. And is this a carriage? Because it looks like a carriage
Who
almost.
knows?
I thought it was a carriage too, which makes it hilarious if her
Well,
carriage
they're
has the same
standing
lattice
below
work
her.
as the tower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Shadar Logoth and Tarvalon are the same exact place. But yeah.
Well-
Sven, Lord General Commander, says, "Hail,
Hey Sven, how's it going?
hail!"
What up, Sven? What up, man?
This one I chalked up as like just generic fighting. Like you can't see anything
Yeah,
that's
there's
happening
nothing
here.
really
And
here.
again, this is boosted.
Why are all fights taking
Sorry.
place at night? Like,
This
are
is
there not
because-
other times?
Detail. They don't want.
Yeah.
They got
This-
a CGI detail in there. That's why. Sorry, Pip.
Presumably, this is the same fight that we saw with Uno, like you said, like
Yeah,
them trying to
that
break
makes
out at
sense.
night.
But
Presumably,
who are these other people fighting?
but yeah, it's
Yeah,
like it's so dark you can't tell. And this is again, I
Well,
boosted the colors on this.
Yeah.
So
Do you think that this is before or after Uno gets caught?
after.
after
This would be them
probably.
escaping,
The
probably.
freedom rather than him being caught and then being brought before Hylia's
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know.
because they could have been fighting them and then been like, "Oh well, crap."
I think
But
this is.
I don't know who all these other random people are. Like, are these
No,
peasants at
because-
Uprise or
I think
what?
this is an escape. They got to get free
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah, because otherwise, the only way that would make sense is a whole bunch of people are fighting, but Perrin and Loyal are not involved to the point where they're not rolled up in the capture. Because we saw Perrin and Loyal standing like with the crowd, seeing Uno on his knees. So, I mean, I guess they could do that. You know, Perrin's
Well,
so
to be
much of a
fair,
coward
if
that, like, he
Perrin
wouldn't
kills
even-
all the
yeah.
people, if Perrin and Loyal kill all the guards that they were fighting them, then no one remembers what they look like. They can get
Yeah,
out.
you think Perrin and Loyal are going to be competent fighting in this show?
I mean, you could have just stopped with competent, and I would have said no. But
Exactly. Anyway, this right here, that's the IDOM.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it that they're actually going to do it. So,
wait, it's a bib.
Yeah,
So
it's-
actually, this is the same one that we saw in season 1. They
This
took
makes it worse.
They took out the pacifier, and that was my point. That like the pacifier is apparently not the item. That's just that's an extra. That's that's
It's an
to shut 'em up.
accessory.
Yeah, it's an accessory. But apparently the item is actually this like chest piece, and then like a full forearm bracer on the Suldam.
See, personally, I think they would go great together because then you have your bib and your binky, and then you can say you have the full adult size baby right there, and then you could say, "Hey, it's the writers and the production team self insert."
yeah. There's so much wrong with having the IDAM be this large and like gaudy and obvious.
Well, and no leash.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Which,
the leash, I don't have because you can go unleashed. It's one of those things. It's fine.
Well, that was like the whole
Yeah.
thing about like when Egwene was grabbed. Part of her training
Yeah.
was, "Hey, you have this leash. I'm going to hook it up here. You can't pick it up to leave. You can't
So the
touch
Yeah,
it."
but that's the bracelet more than the leash. You can still
So
do
the
that without the
reason-
leash. So I mean,
yeah, the reason that I think that taking the leash away is a problem is because it takes away one of Elaine's achievements. The first Tarangrial she makes is an IDAM without a leash. That's her sort of first actual achievement.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and
Uh,
also, if you have the leash and the bracelet, is there like a Bluetooth limit where she can go 30 feet without it? Because like
Yeah.
if you could just walk away from it without the actual physical leash, then
Well,
she
but
could literally
they-
just
she-
open the door and walk out and leave.
but she makes them without. Yeah, she can. They can put a limit on her. I mean, look, they did it without the leash. I get why Pip's is like it's like, okay, that was Elaine figured out how to do it without the leash. That's fine, but these are made without the leash in the book, so I think it looks stupid. But I mean,
the other issue, right, is so how does Egwene get captured in the books?
Leandrin.
Sure, but how does she actually, like, what is the actual physical action that captures her?
It's clasped on her neck.
One of the soldiers sneaks up behind and snaps it around him.
A Suldam with the thing draped across her arm, right? Just leans over from her horse and just
snaps it on her neck.
Snaps it on, right?
Can't snap this thing on.
Yeah, like how does anyone who's not knocked unconscious get this freaking thing put on them? Like,
sword point, a threat of violence, I'd assume. But
this is literally like, you go into the dentist's office and you got to get your friggin' head X-rayed.
Yeah, it looks stupid.
Well, that's what the shot is that the dentist came over and said, "All right, mouth open. I need to get inside." And she's like,
let's throw the giant metal bib on so that you don't, X-ray your heart.
Well, that's how you keep the splatter from the dentist, shooting the sand blast in your mouth.
Yeah. Anyway, I can't keep looking at this.
Yeah. Oh! They actually give Whitecloaks weapons. What?
They actually have
shields.
The sunburst. Yeah, look at that.
They got shields, no pikes though, or no.
Oh wow,
lances.
dude!
No lances.
Those are hand painted. You can tell. Holy
no lances.
Cow.
And I don't like the shields, but whatever.
That symbol is the shields itself don't bother me, but the sunburst looks like
terrible.
It looks hand painted on each individual one and not in unison.
No.
I mean, okay. So for one, it probably would be hand painted, right? Like, but the main thing is that this is the stupid show's sunburst, not the chapter icon sunburst.
Yes, exactly.
Which is featured in my avatar.
It is. Yes, the actual sunburst is far superior to that little whatever it is. It looks terrible.
So actually, and they all got their stupid one-arm pauldrons.
They still do have the one-arm pauldrons.
Oh,
they've upgraded their armor from the behind-the-scenes looks at it, and like I guess they have a shield now, which is nice.
Do they have an actual like chest piece? Like
Allegedly.
Allegedly they do. We'll see. I guess.
Allegedly. Yeah. I was actually going to say, do you think that because this is obviously the Whitecloaks riding in to attack the Shan-Chan, so I'm assuming that's the Turok stances for.
Yeah, although I mean,
because those are like Shan-Chan guards, and
so they do, right?
Whatever building.
Yeah, why they're closing the gate now? Well, I guess it's a free city.
Don't you know that you can't have? Well, no, it was until the Shan-Chan showed up. But
they captured the city and people were going about their business. So
yes, but Falma didn't have a wall either.
Well, so right, so yeah, exactly. So it's one of those. I don't know.
I mean, have you ever seen?
I mean, how big of a nitpick are you going to be there?
I mean, have you ever seen like an actual city in like any medieval setting? There's always like stalls and stuff outside the city gates. Like always, it's always something there. And if something happened, they would just abandon it and run inside and close the gates. There's nothing here. It's literally just sand dunes up against walls.
Yeah,
like there's nothing to tell us that this is an actual city. They're
still in Faldara. Everything is in Faldara because it's sandy. Yeah, everything's sand.
So Faldara and Falma are the exact same location.
Exactly.
Shadar Logoth and Tarvalon are the same location.
Same location, exactly. That's right.
Does that mean the Isle Waste and the Stone of Tyr are going to be the same location?
I don't know. I don't even know if
Rudion is the Stone of Tyr.
I don't even know if we're going to get the Stone of Tyr, to be honest. But
no, we're not.
I think they're removing Kalendor completely.
They're removing as many like cities, nations, and all these culturally cool places to go visit as they possibly can.
Well, they can't,
and it's just weird because that shuts down any argument they had for we want to see diversity in the series. Like you just literally shut it all down by not going to any of the places that have diversity.
Well, I mean, the whole mechanic of Kalendor is now useless, so they're just going to remove it. So there's no reason to go to Tyr.
If Kalendor is not in the show, it literally, I mean, it's hard to even explain how much goes away if Kalendor goes away.
Exactly. That's what they're trying to snip. So they're just going to snip that whole storyline. Yeah. Kalendor's gone.
Anyway, I don't have anything about it. It's just a fade.
Yeah, fade.
and then we got the Koopa
I don't know.
Troopas.
Koopa Troopers, yeah.
I was thinking more of the Titans from Attack on Titan is what I'm getting the vibes from, but yeah.
Very weird armor. Like, why has it got holes in it?
I feel like it's hard to tell. Do you think they're holes?
I
It's
don't
more like
know.
proliferation than holes.
Is it okay? Is it just like supposed to look scaly? Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Because it's supposed to be segmented armor. Is
It's
what I think.
partially Asian themed, and I
Yeah.
say partially with a very
Yeah.
big emphasis on partially.
Yeah.
Agreed.
These regular ones look bad, right? The people who I'm referring to as the Death Watch Guard, even though they are not the right colors and they don't actually look insectoid enough, and they're just other problems with them. Those people, you can argue like the armor looks okay. This looks bad, right?
Agreed.
These
Yeah.
people look like they're wearing football pads that you like punched a bunch of holes in and like did a texture effect on.
I mean,
looks
the
terrible.
samurai had layered armor like this and stuff, which is why I say partially, but how they do it, it doesn't look that good.
If you're
Yeah.
gonna do samurai armor, just
they're
look
not
at
gonna-
like just
They're
go-
not going to
go-
cover their necks or anything. Like,
Nope.
you could literally chop these guys' heads off. The helmet would do literally nothing to it.
just look at Last Samurai and copy that with some flair. Done.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Honestly, I would have been happier if they had literally just done that, where if they had just had like the Last Samurai style sort of full face mask,
Yep.
and if they just painted it to sort of look insectoid,
Yep.
that would have
Perfect.
actually been a lot better than these
Cool,
weird,
yeah.
creepy Venom masks and like
Whatever,
the chrome
yeah.
dome and
Agreed.
Yeah.
I
You
call
got
them
good
more
taste,
Joker
Mitch.
masks than Venom masks. Be like, why so serious as they charge somebody?
look at the one on the right, the one on the far right. Like you're going to tell me that doesn't look like Venom's stupid ass mouth. If there was a tongue that was sort of like a big red tongue, you'd be like, yeah, it's Venom.
I'm pretty sure if there's a big red tongue, then Rafe would be getting weak in the knees.
Rafe already has weak knees. That's his state of being.
Yeah. Agreed.
Oh my!
All right, we're pretty much here at the end. So that's it.
Oh, somebody got caught on fire.
Somebody gets on fire. Yeah.
Somebody got their out of the series.
So that's it.
That's it.
That's the whole thing. You learn pretty much nothing other than season 2 is just going to be just as crap as season 1.
Just think about that's all they had to show. That is what they chose to show at New York
This-
Comic Con.
Yeah, this show has been in post production for 6 months.
And Rafe says at the Comic Con they are still a long way away from being ready to release.
I mean, I agree with that actually.
100 years is too early.
I think yeah, like they're like, well, how long does it take to take my trailer, my little 20-second trailer, run that, refilm all of season 1, and then release the actual story? How long would that take? Because that's how long they are away from having it ready to release.
I have no idea. Nothing makes sense anymore.
I don't know. It's just
What do you think, Child Garion? You've been awfully quiet.
Well, I think that this is pure shit.
Yep, straightforward. But
yeah, it pretty much sums it up. I mean, there's nothing of value and nothing that's like uplifting and like
it's
there's
even hard to
just-
like fix things. Like you can't even say, well, if they did this, they'd fix the scene because
Well,
like
look,
it's so far off the rocks.
They had an opportunity to fix what, like if you just put Land next to Rand topless training, it's like okay, hey, he's learning some sword forms.
Yeah. But by the way, exactly. I want to see Lan and Rand training together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I want to
Just-
hear Land say like the words he's talking about, like whatever you do it on your feet.
well, training, like Rand has some
Be
good
that
training
father
and-
father that they obviously hate father figures, but be that father figure would at least bring some redeeming quality to that instance, and be like, okay, well maybe this particular scene isn't horribly bad, even though everything about the character so far has been butchered. But like at least that scene would be like the scenes in Rings of Power where Durin Jr. and Durin Sr. have at least a father-son moment, and it's a nice scene to have that we were not expecting because it kind of counters everything they've done to the show so far in the Rings of Power aspect. But it's that scene where it's like, okay, I don't really like the whole episode, but I like that spot. I like that one particular scene. And I'm like, give me at least one scene in this entire series of Wheel of Time that I can actually like. Just one. So far, they all have been bad.
It's
Sorry,
not
Steve.
going
I
to
didn't
get
mean to
better.
cut you off.
No,
I
you're
know.
good.
I know. I don't even hope it gets better because I know it can't. So it's wasted hope if I do that. But it's like, well, I think was it you guys over at Whitecloaks Pips that were mentioning the whole like get it so it's so bottomed out in terms of like it does so bad that the rights become super super cheap and you buy it out and do it right. Was that you guys or somebody else? I can't remember who said it.
I think Dane said that in like first episode of the rewatch that he was
Yeah.
hoping that they just destroyed the IP's monetary value to the point where we could buy it up and make an anime. Obviously,
Yes,
it's never gonna happen.
anime would be actually probably the best form to do, just because all the weaves, all the super tall people, all the different cultures and stuff would be so easy to do in an anime, and it's really hard to do in a live action the way they have it set up now. So,
I mean,
like
Robert Jordan.
the War of the Rohirrim being done by an anime studio, which it's going to be amazing, and it's going to blow Rings of Power out of the water.
I mean, Robert Jordan did the graphic novels for a reason, right?
I just wish he did all of them. Like if he had plans to, like every time a book gets released, do a graphic novel, I'd be like happy as I'll get out. But he only
Yeah, I mean, it
he
was
only had
pretty
what the
early.
first three? Is that right?
It,
The
it
first
was
three?
pretty early in the process of graphic novelization of like other like actual books, right? I think that's more common nowadays than it was.
Yeah.
But on top of that, like that didn't start until late in the process, and then he, unfortunately died, right?
Yeah.
The thing that's strange to me is that Tor still is Tor is the one that had the rights for the graphic novels, and I guess maybe they didn't sell well enough back in the day when they had them out. I got to imagine if they re-released the Eye of the World, which right now is selling for like $50-$60 per edition, and there's
Yeah.
6 of them just for the Eye of the World. So right now, to buy it on the secondary market, you're looking at like $200+ to have the Eye of the World graphic novel. And if you're Tor, I don't understand how you haven't reprinted that. Just to literally just
Especially
print money,
alongside
right?
a TV series, you'd think
Exactly.
making money off of that people are going to be gobbling up all the merchandise you could possibly think of, and it's
Yes.
like this is something they have rights to that Amazon does. I don't think Amazon has the rights to the books based stuff, so graphic novel wouldn't fall under the merchandise deal that Amazon has with Harriet. So, I mean, if they have
Yeah,
their own rights, then they should totally go ahead and do it.
I tried to research it at one point and just sort of lost the energy. It's got to be a rights thing. Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, maybe Tor hates money. Yeah, maybe that's the only other.
That's possible. It's highly possible, but oh man. Well, are there any other cancer gouge my eyes out moments you guys are expecting to see based off of this? Because a lot of this I can kind of see how they're going to connect some of these scenes together, but I'm assuming the white folks show up at the same time as
Steve, you did a full breakdown with some other people and stuff like that. What were any real high quality takeaways from the chat or your conversation?
I mean, it's sort of a blur. I mean, I was with Nathan and Salty, and I just started getting mad about a bunch of stuff. So I need to do a proper breakdown, which I will do. But I mean, I think actually sometimes you got to watch these things a few times to actually see what you're seeing. So I think like, the point about the Nynaeve thing sent me over the edge with the sword, let alone if it's Matt's scene. But I think, even looking through it and talking to you guys about it, I think you guys are probably right. Those are probably Alana's warders, and it's still the scene, just worse because none of the people involved are in it. So,
or the location for that matter.
Well, I mean, the location we knew was wrong from the beginning, just from the training we saw in the other sneak peek. So it's one of those.
I'm pretty confident that in the entire book series, Nynaeve never touches anything bigger than a small knife.
She doesn't need to. Why would she? Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Like, I don't understand the whole purpose of like, oh, we're gonna make her the warrior king all of a sudden, and this is like, but she's gonna have magic. Like, I thought magic was her thing, and you can do everything with magic that you can do with a sword and armor, but better. Like, you can set somebody on fires and armor and they'll burn like a crisp.
She just needs a knife in case somebody gets close to her. That's it. But it's one of those
like warders in the tower.
Well, yeah. So I don't know. It's one of those.
And even if that scene did happen, she would have gotten her butt kicked because these are warriors with swords that have some of the best training in the world, and they're some of the best swords people in the world. Not to mention the warder bond enhances them on top of that. She has no enhancement. She has no formal training. She has no non-formal training with the sword because they don't have really swords in the Two Rivers. Like, she has nothing at her disposal that would best anyone. Matt at least does because he's using a weapon he is highly familiar with. It's something they use in the Two Rivers. If she used a quarterstaff, I might believe it to at least a little bit.
There's
But
no reason
not
for her to
very
be
much.
training with a quarterstaff either. Matt trained with a quarterstaff with his Da. His Da was the best. You know, look, it's just wrong. There's no reason for her to have a sword. There's no reason for her to be fighting warders with a sword. Even if it is her accepted training, there's no reason for her to be doing it in there either. So,
Yeah.
you know, the biggest takeaway, you know, I think just listening to them talk about stuff at the Comic-Con too it is very clear that Rafe Judkins wants Egwene to be the main character. I think one of the big takeaways from my stream a few days ago was there's a lot of people that think they're going to kill Rand in either in this season or the next season because Rand is a problem. And getting rid of Rand, Rand is a well, Rand not just that, but Rand is in the way of Egwene becoming the main character right now, and you know the multi-headed dragon thing has been said for a reason, and it's going to come back. If you don't think that multi-headed dragon statement that was dropped in the first season is not going to rear its ugly head in some fashion,
for sure,
you're not paying attention. But I think that was the biggest takeaway that there are thoughts that chat and you know the panelists had where it was that there's the overwhelming thought that that Rand is not Rand right now and isn't Rand in the show, and he's either going to be killed or turned or gentled or something of that nature to get him out of the way.
Which is funny because Rafe's own line on his Twitter line of Instagram and Twitter things, he was saying that is like, you know, people who are familiar with the story know who the dragon is. And I'm like, okay, so you're saying it's Rand without saying it's Rand, so the normies don't know it's Rand because Robert Jordan never made a secret of who the Dragon Reborn was. It's the characters who didn't know, the reader always did.
So I guess on one hand, I'm not of the opinion that they're going to kill Randolph. I think that what is much more likely is what Steve was saying about the multi-headed dragon. I think that's the direction they go, where basically Rand is unable to control himself and control the madness and control Sidene, and the only way to do it is if he's linked with probably Egwene and Moraine and all these other the strong women, right?
Yeah,
so the multi-headed dragon, I agree. I think it's going to come back. I think that's going to be their story. As for the whole like, if you're familiar with the story, like you know who the dragon is, dude. Everything that person says is a lie. I don't trust a single word that Rafe Judkins has ever said about this series. It is either a direct lie or an intentional misdirection. Like moron Sedai is friggin' worse slightly than he is in terms of how many times she lies during the course of this season. But literally every other character is more honest than Rafe is.
Agreed. He's just a pathological liar. He's just a liar, and
he basically Gil Galad.
He does things to piss off the fandom directly and laughs about it.
100%.
It's crazy that you can take some feedback, even feedback that's not bad feedback. It's just feedback into well, I'm gonna do this and then laugh about it. It's just like, dude, you have problems.
Yeah, and the whole like threatening of, you know, well, if you're going to complain about this, I'm just going to turn this person gay. It's just like,
it's like that's not,
you don't have to react as the showrunner to literally every form of criticism. But you could at least respond with some good faith that people know, like even the people who disagree with you, and this would actually win you brownie points with everybody else who doesn't like the people who disagree with them. But it would win you brownie points if you were just like, well, we'll look into seeing like how we want the story to go, and we'll try to not be hostile to every living being on the planet that's not the people who are our yes men. Like literally that simple. You might even win some people over, like, oh, okay, at least they're being honest with us. At least they're doing this. Not very many people, I bet, but at least they would probably win people over. It's like, well, I don't like the show. I don't like this, but at least the showrunner's not
Well, look,
not
it's one of
trying to do me dirty.
you're the showrunner. You should be part of your job is communicating with the fandom and going, okay, hey, why did you do this? And then instead of being a dick, it's like you're complaining. I'm going to make everybody gay. Just go, well, we chose to do this because we thought that this would be a better thing for this, that, and the other. And it's like, no, you just start. You have to spurg out and say some stupid crap. It's just like, no, you're supposed. If you are not built to respond to a huge fandom like this, who's going to have questions about decisions you made, you are obviously the wrong person for the job, and he is. He is terrible. He shouldn't be making any movies or shows, not just because he's talentless and doesn't understand the content, but he is a juvenile, and he doesn't know how to react to any sort of criticism at all, other than being defensive and being snarky and making stupid childish remarks. He's like a freaking 2-year-old.
I like to pop in real quick. What I just posted up on the page or whatever in the chat is the link to Pips's little trailer teaser that he did.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the
Definitely check that out.
The teaser is really good. I know Pips has got a full breakdown coming soon here, and so will I. So
yeah, so definitely check that out.
Luckily, I think we already recorded ours, because I think after this, if I had to go through this again, man, that's
yeah. Well, that's where I'm at. Yeah.
My liquor cabinet only has 10 bottles in it, guys. Like I need to restock before I watch more of this.
Well, what are you waiting for? You just got to restock every 10 minutes. We actually were trying to get one of our other Bulgarian friends that is the essential equivalent of Matt Hatch from the Dusty Wheel. It's essentially that version on the Bulgarian side of it. That is like one of the beta readers or beta test readers, and like one of the oldest readers that we know. And he wouldn't even come in and talk about this. We couldn't pay him to get on here to talk to us. He didn't want to have anything to do with it.
You're saying that he was connected with the actual books and doing the beta reads for the books back in the day, is what you're saying?
Yeah, he was in like the same type of group that Matt Hatch. I don't know if you watched the Dusty Wheel stuff or not.
No,
but okay.
Refuse.
Basically, he's allegedly a I mean, he seems like a nice guy, but he's allegedly one of the early beta readers, and that's why he carries a lot of clout.
Well, he's got theory. He does Theoryland. Theoryland is his. Look, I didn't. Yeah, I can't watch. Back even when the book was coming out, I couldn't stand Theoryland because they wouldn't let you actually post anything that wasn't a certain way. Even back then, And he is a complete shill, and I can't deal with him. I can't watch his stuff.
There's a reason that when we talked about him, we didn't use his name before.
Right.
Oh, that's who you're talking about?
Yeah, I don't want to talk. I really don't want to get into talking smack about other channels.
Well, but him and the other guy both.
Yeah, him and the other guy and the other guy. There's three of them that I would rather just not. I can't watch their content because I think they betrayed Wheel of Time because they're just completely shilled for it. And they've admitted.
My thing is, I don't
straight up.
I don't like when people use the argument of authority, like, "Oh, I was an early reader, therefore I'm correct." It's like I could be an early reader and I could be completely wrong about something. Like my longevity of participation doesn't mean anything. Like you have to understand that, like, Dane's very knowledgeable, and I'd like to think I'm somewhat knowledgeable, but there are some times where we'll even clash about the same reading because we read it from a different angle, but I can see both sides being understood from our different perspectives. And then it'd be like, oh, this is something where it's like, it doesn't matter if Dane's been doing it longer. I mean, he probably retains the knowledge a lot better than I do. I have to go through and read every once in a while to refresh it. But off the cuff, Dane's way more knowledgeable than I am. But even Dane, I know he hates if I say this, but even Dane could be wrong about something at least twice a year. But it's the whole I'm right because I've been here since the beginning is complete nonsense. Like Robert Jordan himself, the guy who wrote the series in several parts of his interviews and other things he's done, he's gotten his own information incorrect where he had to correct himself, or he changed what his actual answer was to something else. So it's like your longevity doesn't mean squat. Like I don't care if the actual author himself can't keep track of all of his notes and keep everything together. There's no way anybody else can go without being ever wrong.
Look, everybody's going to interpret some stuff differently. That's not what's happening with those people. They are completely just that's not what's happening. They're misinterpreting,
which is a shame because I'd love to have more Wheel of Time content that I could go to and be excited about.
Well, that's I think why most of our channels exist, because we couldn't stand that crap.
Yeah,
I mean,
we are the retaliation of that.
It's just a difference in perspective, right? So I think most of us, we actually like it when you disagree with somebody about the books and about sort of scenes, right? So you talked about Dane and I disagreed today on the Discord about the scene with when Padan Fane sort of cuts Rand's side with his dagger in A Crown of Swords, right? That sort of scene, I was like, hey, what do you guys think? Was the fog Mashadar something, or something like it that Padan Fane created, or was it a bubble of evil? And Dane and I disagree on that. He thinks, he leans more towards it might have been Padan Fane kind of doing something. I think it was a bubble of evil. And it's not a settled question, and we enjoy the conversation of citing
both sides could be potentially like it could, if it's a bubble of evil, you can see it like, oh yeah, that makes sense because bubble of evil is a random and whatever, but he's also Taviran, so he pulls randomness to him at the same time in some instances. So that makes sense. But also from the Padan Fane aspect, Fane using a Mashadar type, like maybe it's a quote unquote tendril of Mashadar, and coming out and using it to cover so he can get close to Rand and get him. That could also be a valid thing. And there's not necessarily a one or the either way. So it's not like that's not a hill worth dying on, but it's an interesting theory idea. And I'm not really that big a fan of theories just because I'd rather deal in the facts and stuff.
So it's not really a theory. It's how do you interpret it, right? Because it doesn't say one way or the other, and we both recognize that there's not an answer. Well, the question is, when you read it, how did you interpret it?
The theory would
right?
be like, I theorized this was Mashadar, or I theorized this is a bubble of evil. But the bubble of evil acted an awful lot like Mashadar, so that's where it kind of becomes, pun intended, gray area.
This is a tangent. I guess the point that I was making is that people like us, we enjoy those conversations because it's thinking about and talking about and discussing a thing that we enjoy. I think the other side of the sort of fandom, or if you even want to acknowledge them as fans, they don't like disagreements. They don't like talking to somebody who doesn't agree with them already. They want to say something and have the other person say the same thing back to them. And I, hey, if that's your cup of tea and that's what you want to do, then, more power to it. I don't understand why you wouldn't just, talk to yourself. It's the easiest way to have that outcome.
If you're looking to win, just talk to yourself. If you're willing to learn or even get some interesting discussions off of it, that's the best time to go talk to other people.
Yeah. So I've said this before about why I like disagreements and those types of conversations is basically, and people can rightly point out that I talk a lot. True. Right. But I will acknowledge that I talk a lot because I like the discourse. I've never learned a single thing because of a word that comes out of my own mouth. Right. I only ever learn when somebody else opens theirs. And that's the distinction between us and between the Matt Hatch's Dusty Wheels of the world.
Well said, sir.
That's what I think. That's kind of my mindset, and that's why I like doing these kind of group ups where we can get Steve and you Pips and Gary when he decides to show up. But getting a group of people and just sitting and chatting about something, because I could have
mates, fuck Dusty Wheel.
Let's not go quite that far. And there goes the monetization that we don't have.
No.
I don't know. But yeah, in terms of, I like getting people together because I can say, hey, I had this thought that I thought was really interesting. Like one of the big ones I did that Dan and I kind of opposite ends of the spectrum where the one part in Great Hunt where Rand gets stuck with the whole flicker flies thing, like what the source was, because I've read what Robert Jordan himself
you and I
said.
had that disagreement.
Oh, we had that disagreement too. Okay, well, everybody has a disagreement, but like that's something cool that would, if you come together and you have different people, different viewpoints, because you have a different viewpoint, I have a different viewpoint. If you add 2 more different viewpoints and we have 4 different viewpoints, it's like, well, you can use that to kind of like narrow down to what it could be, but we ultimately don't know because Robert Jordan himself kept confusing himself and he had this one and this one as an answer. So maybe he didn't even know. Maybe he doesn't care. Maybe he didn't want to know because it's just too much of a hassle for him. I don't know. But one way or the other, we could at least push down to more of a steady, constant theory. And it's just like, it's okay that we disagree on it. Like, I'm not going to start torching people's houses because they disagree with me on something. I mean, that would be the Inquisitor thing to do, but not going to do in real life. But it's like,
revoke your channel name.
Don't make me change it to the High Inquisitor. But yeah, so I mean, I like being able to do this because brainstorming to me is really fun way to learn more stuff, especially if I miss something. Even if I'm going like reading the books line by line, day after day, I could still miss stuff. So it's fun to hear other people's perspectives, so they reading or whatever, and like even in like videos, like in trailers, learning about stuff I apparently missed because I was so focused on something else. Having somebody else say, "Yeah, I noticed this," just changes how the entire scene works for you because something else was in there that you didn't exactly have. So
yeah, I'm with you,
which is fine.
but,
Which is why I enjoy this stuff.
Yeah, no, I get all, I'm with you on all that, but I've been here a little bit longer than I even planned, so I got to get rolling here in a second. So
Definitely appreciate it.
So I don't know if if you're wrapping up, I'll hang out.
Yep, I'm good to wrap up. So I guess we'll go around and let everybody do their stuff. I mean, Child Gary, and you're part of the questioners anyway, so I guess unless you want to just say bye to everyone, don't know what else you have to say. Anything?
Well, I'm fine. I enjoyed this.
Enjoyed the stream.
Yeah, I enjoyed the stream. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll call that good. Hey, Steve, if you want to go ahead and.
Well, yeah, I just released some clips from my previous stream about this topic we were just talking about, and I will have a breakdown. I unfortunately got to watch the thing again, but yeah. So a breakdown on my channel will probably be high octane because I'm so pissed off about a lot of it. But and then tonight. House of the Dragon with Nerporial on Nerporial Lifeform's channel, and yeah, so and check out Whitecloaks' little flicker. It's good stuff.
Sounds about right. Coolness. All right, go ahead, Pips, and pin your stuff.
Yeah. So first, thanks for the invite, and glad we were able to make this work. So we released the Whitecloaks unofficial trailer. So come check that out if you want. It's a lot shorter and much less painful. So you can check that out on our channel if you want. I also finished recording my kind of breakdown of the trailer. I'm probably going to chop it down because it was like 45 minutes of just kind of me doing a breakdown of 27 seconds of like new footage, and can't tolerate that. I'm going to go through and cut it. I'm going to do some extreme freaking surgery on that.
That sounds like a normal day for me in the topics. So
yeah, so I'm going to do some extreme plastic surgery on that one and start getting some deep cuts. But otherwise, yeah, I'm with Steve, Nerdporial Lifeform. We're doing the House of the Dragon stream tonight, pretty much immediately after the episode airs. So if you guys are interested in House of the Dragon, go check that out. We do it weekly. And then outside that, we always got the rewatch, other content dropping on our channel. And Alex, fellow Whitecloak, has been doing his data breakdowns on TV show ratings and reviews, that kind of stuff. So weekly on Friday, we typically try and get either Friday or Saturday, try and drop the Nielsen ratings for the different TV shows. This most recent week was the first week of one episode head to head between House of the Dragon and Rings of Power. For those of you who have watched it, Cobra Kai came out on top for the week. I think it dropped the entire season in a single week though. So a little bit juked stats, but either way,
it was also they were
mentioning
the Amazon stuff was like counting the plays and the backgrounds of like the Amazon list of all the channels and all the videos you could see.
No,
like,
so
they're throwing in ads for the NFL stuff as well.
that's not the way that the ratings are broken down on the Nielsen ones. It's actual minutes of watch time. So if you get the samples that Amazon talked about, that doesn't get counted. It's only like you have to actually click into it, watch it.
Well, I'm talking about like Amazon's like claim that they had, over 25 million people for the first episode, and they were like including the actual view count as those back things, not necessarily the minutes. The minutes is totally
different.
Thing,
agreed. So they totally are overblowing it, but it's honestly it's performing well in the first 2 weeks that we have ratings available.
Everyone's wondering what's going to look like the third on.
Yes, it'll be curious to see how much it starts dropping. Typically in a new show, you get week 1 comes out, pretty good. Then you get a week 2 bump where people who didn't see it in the last week, they didn't see the premiere, watch that and the new episode that's released. But typically 3 weeks on, the ratings start to fall off if it's a bad show, and then they continue to rise if it's a good show. So we'll see a lot.
Which I believe I heard Nerdrotic stated something about House of the Dragon is actually gaining viewers or something like that.
So far, House of the Dragon has been gaining each week. Yeah, which matches most like decent to good shows will continue to gain.
Cool.
If you look at original Game of Thrones, every single episode gained viewership for the entirety of like the first 6.5, almost the full 7 seasons until season 8.
Yeah, that was bad. Alrighty. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out again. We just hit the 2-hour mark, so you can call it good here. So thanks everybody. We hit I think 9 viewers at peak point, which is cool. But we'll hopefully get to do this again when we find another topic to get upset about, which shouldn't take too long, I'd imagine. But I'm sure we'll see more content.
Well, I'm waiting for them to drop those first looks of Matt and Elaine. They aired those at the Comic-Con. First looks of Elaine and new Matt. So I'm waiting for those to pop up somewhere because those are going to be terrible. So
I couldn't believe that we paid money for that ticket and you didn't even get to see the footage that they were showing. That is absurd.
That is enough to be that is enough to be pissed off about this whole thing. Alex paid money to watch the Comic-Con and they cut the feed on the stuff that we were there to see. Who cares about them talking? Who cares? They're just talking gibberish. We wanted to see the footage, and
did they actually post the footage on the YouTube yet, or
nope,
no?
Just this. That's it.
Oh no.
Yeah. So there were 2 other video clips? Like
there was actually. So there were 3. One was the cold open of season 7. They didn't even show.
I didn't want to see that again. Don't show that.
They didn't even show that. And then they introduced Matt's new actor. So they showed a scene with him, and then they introduced Elaine. So there was a scene with them, which they did not show on the stream of the Comic-Con, and they have not posted afterwards. And then the big ending was the sneak peek, which was garbage. So yeah.
Well, I guess we have content coming out that we'll be able to chat about.
Scam. Don't ever buy a digital ticket to a Comic-Con. It's a scam. You don't get half the content.
Yeah.
It sucks.
All right.
But sorry. A little rant to end off.
You're fine.
It pissed me off because he bought it.
Let's put it that way.
It pissed me off because he paid money for it and they didn't give him anything. It was ridiculous.
That's depressing.
So, yep.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out. We'll call it good. And thanks everybody for watching. And just remember, walk in the light, my friends.
Hail the Lord Dragon.
Walk in the light.